All right, all right, all right. All right, we live now. We live now. Peace to the family out there. Thank you for your patience as usual on this Saturday night. Or as Red says, Saturn Day night.
Thursday.
I have a good show today. Excellent show today.
Absolutely.
Uh I got the twins today and haven't had them on in a while. You know, when they come on the platform, it's sort of it gives me a feeling like when Griff comes on. You know, I started out the platform with a lot of these individuals, you know, and then we was having a
So,
good time
shout out to Griff.
with that camera, man. Yeah, talking about all types of stuff. So let's get, you know, I don't have a commercial today, so we could get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, our Red's running a little late. Wow, he's gonna come any minute now, but let me welcome back to the platform. My brother, he's an early bird now, so it's past his bedtime. My brother Blue Pill, man. Welcome back, Blue.
Peace to the family. Peace, love, and light. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Even if I had to sacrifice some sleep hours, there's no other way that I would rather spend it but here on Black Magic 363.
Oh yeah. How's things been going? Your microphone matches your hearing, my brother. That's quite amazing. That's an achievement in itself.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Again, doing research for today's presentation. Again, it's the things that we overlook, the most obvious things. So a lavalier amplifies a microphone, and I had took a picture, and I noticed that the lavalier looked exactly like my hair.
Mm.
So, in accordance with the presentations that you've been having about radios and antennas, I allowed myself to see myself as a receiver and my hair as amplifications for that reception. You know what I mean? And it just made the most sense. And then I started researching it, and it was right there. This latent information is right in front of our face. I was like, my bro throwing back to seven. Like, dirty right on camera.
But wildly,
It's
man.
that water, right? Um,
Hey, Blue, real quick. You know my new name is Radiohead Rich. Did you hear me say that yet?
I absolutely did not hear you say that.
My new name is Radiohead Rich.
So
That's the new name.
I'm gonna need you to grow them antennas out,
I'm,
brother.
I'm the ultimate antenna for divinity. I don't want to be associated with ego consciousness. I'm just like you just said. We're on the same frequency. I'm a
Yes.
receiver for cosmic consciousness. I just want to play y'all the music of the gods, the music of the spheres. So
Uh,
that's it. But
Again,
Radiohead Rich though.
I love that attitude.
Yeah.
You being Radiohead rich, you are allowing yourself to be a receptor. You're allowing yourself to receive. Um, you're open heart and open hand. You know what I'm saying? And again, all of those lead into the theme of what we're speaking about tonight. And as you allow yourself to be amplified, to be an amplifier, right? Then that speaks directly to your resonant frequency, or what we call your magnetic field. So you already are here broadcasting,
Mm-hmm,
right? A
mm-hmm.
frequency, right?
Right.
And that broadcasting of the frequency has already lifted people, right? Undeniably, in a way in which they tap into this particular outlet of frequencies regularly to get their frequency upgrade and update.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you are Radiohead rich, and I'm just going to need you to grow some of those antennas out
Right.
so you can
Oof.
induce that amplification,
Indeed.
10x, because we
Indeed.
need it right now.
Blue, I immediately the name of the show is Magnetic Fields of the Human Body. I had sent you and Red a recorded lecture by Manly P. Hall.
Whew.
I'm sure as I did, I'm sure when you came into consciousness, his books is one of the first books thrown at you. They people immediately gave me his books. I didn't understand it at the time, but I was always familiar with his name. Something he said I want to ask you right away, and
Yes.
that's because you are known to you speak a lot about breathing techniques, chi, air, prana.
Yes.
He was going in on air, and air is not what we've been taught that it is. I want to ask you, when we use the human language, you talk a lot about the human language you use with the weekends or the week or the days, you're in the
Oh,
days,
man.
stuff like
Right.
that.
Mhm.
Why do they say, Blue, we're on these electronics right here, right?
Yes.
Or you could be on TV. why do they use the term "we're live on air"? We're not. This is ear. Why do they say live on ear? Why do you think they use ear in that matter when you go live on
Because
the camera?
yeah, what they are speaking to is we're on air, right? So
Yes.
we are on a frequency, we're on a wave, and
Mm-hmm.
that wave is conducted through air, air being the ionosphere,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the container that contains the volume of content that we are projecting by way of broadcasting through that frequency or through the air. So we're moving through the air,
Mm.
right, on a frequency at a wavelength that
Mm.
allows other people to be receptive of us. What's that called? That's called bandwidth.
There you go. There you go.
You dig what I'm saying?
There you go.
So, and then when we get to breathing, right? Breathing helps you induce a particular frequency that creates
Mm-hmm.
entrainment. So when we
Mm-hmm.
do collective breathing, right? We used to do the 11-11 breathing on KTL. That was to create a level of entrainment, so all of us can be on the
Right.
same frequency, right? And we can
Mm-hmm.
deduce a charge, and whatever that charge might be, that might be somebody in the audience might be over anxious. Somebody in the audience might be feeling, a little bit less than. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if we have it within ourselves to give, if we have it within ourselves to pour into other people, right? If you have it within yourself to be Radiohead rich, that means that you're moving in a frequency of abundance, because we know that high tides lift all boats. So this information specifically about magnetic fields, speaks to the physics, not just the metaphysics, but the physics of the one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's not the one. you know you don't have to be the one at the subtraction of the 99, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, 'cause you're talking about, you said, about the ego thing. Like, you don't got to be the one and everybody else can't be. You know what I'm saying? You could be the one for the sake of everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the ultimate sacrifice. That's Christ consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here to talk about.
Indeed. So with the magnetic field of the human body, they say the human body is surrounded by this etheric energy field, and the field forms like an egg shape. Blue. It's like an egg shape around the human body.
Yeah.
Um.
To be precise, a
Yeah. Get
total
blue.
field, yes.
Torture. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Indeed.
Egg shape is the specific, the description that we want people to induce in their minds when they see it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
What do you think in terms of sacred geometry? A lot of us value the triangle, and a lot of us, we have the little organs. I don't have it with me right now, and the
Yeah.
organs shaped like the triangle, and we're always talking about the triangle and the pyramids. Why don't you think, if this is the shape of the electromagnetic field and the Earth's electromagnetic field looks the same way, why you think we don't see more ancient monuments in this shape like we see the pyramids with the triangle?
Well, the pyramid with the triangle speaks specifically to the sacred geometric form of the tetrahedron,
Hmm.
and the tetrahedron is geometrically shaped the way that it is, so you can fit the most amount of matter in it. So you could put 27 different tetrahedrons in that one tetrahedron.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
these are just the shapes that are conducive to compacting and compiling matter or energy into it.
Hmm.
The toroidal field specifically is something, like you said, more etheric, right? It's an induction of the energy that exists in the latent field.
Hmm.
So we don't necessarily build the structures. Well, let me do say this. In indigenous communities, we would never build square structures, because square structures are not necessarily the structures that induce stronger magnetic fields. Magnetic fields are negatively ioned. So negative ion environments or structures would be more circular or cylindrical,
Hmm.
or, like you said, pyramidal, but not 90-degree squares. You feel me? So you don't necessarily see things that we built in ancient antiquity that are squares, or we wasn't building project buildings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
That's not how you build to induce negative ion environments, which attract positive things. It's the
Right.
reverse of what we've been,
Reverse. Yeah.
right?
Indeed.
Our magnetic fields are mainly composed of negative ions. Hence the fact that when you go to the ocean, you go to the beach, you have a beach day, you come back feeling so positive about yourself. You come back feeling so great because crashing waves and do something called the Leonard effect, spelled exactly like how it sounds, Lenard. And
Mm-hmm.
Leonard effects are, the crashing of the wave. These are creating structured water, and that structured water is creating more negative ions. You know what I mean? There's duplicated, replicated processes that are taking place on a microcosmic level in our own bodies,
Mm-hmm.
right? That
Yeah.
are structuring water,
Indeed.
allowing us to have this negative ion state. And again, allowing us to increase our induction.
Mm-hmm. Blue. I was looking at when I was doing this project, when I was researching for this interview, I was looking at a lot of ideas about the antenna and exactly what antennas do.
Yeah,
And earlier in the conversation, you referred to your hair, and everybody refers to the hair as an antenna. I'm wondering, Blue, and you've been around this community a lot. Have you ever heard of, and you know about the societies and all that? Do people do rituals with their hair, like cut their hair and put it on their altar? If this is the antenna, and say you had a certain thought pattern and your hair grew a certain way, have you ever heard of somebody doing a ritual like with the hair that they cut, as opposed to just throwing their hair away?
absolutely.
Mm,
If you remember, I shaved my head in December of 2022. I had went through an initiation
mm,
ceremony, and that you know it necessitates the cutting of the hair, but you don't shed the hair after you cut it. You know what I'm saying? You have to collect all of the hair. There's many societies. The reason that the women over here was even able to get yaki, which is the Indian silk hair, is because there were ceremonial processes in India where they had to cut their hair at a particular age. You know what I
mm,
mean? A rites of passage. You
mm,
grow your hair to a certain length or a certain age, and then you have to cut it.
mm,
And then you don't dispose of it necessarily. You weren't supposed to, because that hair is containing your old self. Like, we are in Scorpio season, so the shedding of the skin that the serpent undergoes, it's the same concept as the hair.
mm,
Feel me? This hair is containing all of the memory that's connected to this particular vessel, for X amount of years that this hair was connected to this vessel, that this body went through whatever experiences that the body went through. All of it is contained in the hair. You know what I mean?
right,
They
right,
can find out if you was if you were smoking and what you've been smoking, right?
mm,
All of the information is in the hair. Hence the fact that the hair is the antenna that's able to tap into all of the latent information, because all of the information is in the hair.
mm, mm. No, definitely, definitely. I thought before, and I'm like, you just have weird thoughts, and this is the last hair question, but the hair with the
No,
antenna,
no, no. Go ahead, bro. This is it.
it's a fascinating topic. And I looked at what we was able to accomplish in I guess this is before I was born, in the 70s, 60s, whenever the Afro became popular. And I thought to myself, I said, damn, is the Afro the most powerful hairdo that we can uh put on ourselves as a people? Like, we got braids, we do all types of shit, locks, braids,
Yeah,
twists, cornrows, but it seems like the Afro was the hairdo that took us, what I'm saying, that took us there, you know what I'm saying?
our consciousness was at its most heightened height
Yeah.
when we wore the afro. Every description. Let me preface this before I get into it.
Oh, here you go. Oh, let me preface now.
Every description that I have heard thus far of melanated extraterrestrials, and there's a difference. And shout out to everybody who's been bringing their information forward. But I'm only interested in the information that speaks specifically to our direct relationship and correlation to these entities and these beings. And every one that I got, there was a verifiable account. They said that they came with afros. They never said dreads.
That is a
They never
great
said cornrows.
point. Why
They
though?
never said
Why?
balding. They always said afros.
But the
You know what
Anunnaki
I'm
had
saying?
locks. Didn't the Anunnaki had locks?
We not gonna get into that
Okay.
respectfully.
All right. All right. All right.
I'm gonna save that for another day. Shout out to yeah, I'm gonna save that. But yeah, that
They came with afros, the aliens.
let's speak about the modern verifiable ones, the ones that we can call people up that are still with us to have these particular interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Dr. Delbert Blair, shout out to Robert Smalls,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Les. There's a bunch of them, the people that can affirm and confirm, what I'm saying, these interactions that they've had in real life, in real time, in this lifetime. All of those entities had afros.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and two things changed post 1960s that changed us forever, right? We put on rubber sole shoes and we laid our hair down. You know what I'm saying? As my father would always say, in the 70s, they walked in to see Superfly with afros and dashikis, and they walked out, you know what I'm saying, with perms and butterfly collars.
Yeah.
That was the turning point when they went and saw that movie and the neurocinematics or the mirror neurons of what it meant to be cool, accepted, and to beat the man. It was no longer the revolutionary look of black leather and afros.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That slick back.
Yeah.
You feel me? The fact that they laid their hair down signaled the change of their ideology, physiology, and their approach towards how they was going to get to the commerce, right?
Right.
It's almost like, get down to lay down, and they literally laid their hair down because they was laying down to get down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Facts. Yeah. One of the just talking about the magnetic field, and one of the what motivated me to call you and Red. I was looking at the Puffy situation, and I was thinking about the brother's aura, and when he came on the scene, and Bad Boy. I don't know if I ever seen a label take over hip hop like Bad Boy. Do you think somebody did it bigger than Puff? All right, so
Absolutely not.
it got to a point where they said Puff couldn't recognize hits anymore. I even remember 50 one time on the Breakfast Club, because Puff had smacked the shit out of Drake for taking the 0 to 100 beat, but
Yeah.
50 was like Puff didn't know what to do with the beat, and 50 was like Puff couldn't hear a hit if you hit him with it. He doesn't have the ear no more. And I'm
Right.
thinking to myself, I remember me and Red did a video about compromising the human magnetic field with people you have sex with. And I'm thinking about how much of a degenerate he became sexually. And I'm like, does your gifts get taken away from you?
So
Talk,
this
talk
this
to me.
this why we love you, brother.
Yes, sir.
You are Radiohead Rich, undeniably. Yes, let's Christian this brother with that title. Father Rich has turned to Radiohead Rich because you
I
really
graduated, man.
you be tapping in. So just like what Manly P. Hall said, you know what I'm saying? A strong magnetic field is one that's formulated when you do not make compromises to your integrity, right? So the integrity of magnetic fields, you can start one way, but it's all about what they say, how you finish the race,
Mm-hmm.
because that tells the tale of the tape. You know what I'm saying? How were you consistent with the blessings,
Mm.
right? So he initially got the blessings,
Yes.
which was the ear.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Uh-huh.
And the ear is a particular instrument, that is connected, I would like to think, to the heart,
Mm.
right?
That's
Because we
interesting.
don't
That's interesting.
we don't speak enough about the nose and the olfactory senses and how important that is to everything. We don't
Uh-huh.
speak about the nose because of its ability to induce the what part of that brain is it? The thalamus, but also the amygdala, right?
Uh-huh.
So memory is induced by smell. I can be somewhere and smell, in my case, let's say you go plant-based, but you know what I mean? You remember what them Big Macs used to hit for?
Oh shit. Oh man. I
And
remember.
you walk by that one store that one time, and that memory catapults you back to, you know, a feeling that you had when the food made you feel a particular way.
Yes.
And that one smell can put you in a crisis because here you go, you like, and you're fighting yourself. And they like, just this one time, come on, bro. Right. But think about the ear, regardless of what position moralistically I might take towards Bad Boy as a record label, right? When that song comes on, it induces an immediate
Mm,
response. You
mm,
feel me?
mm,
Because I can't lock my ear off just like I can't close my nose off, right?
mm,
You can front about all of them other things, but that particular orifice, that entryway, that's why they open
mm,
automatically, you know what I'm saying? The memories start pouring in.
mm,
So, yes, you hit something very key. And that is when you start compromising your integrity, you create gaps and holes in your auric field, and your auric field is your magnetic field. Once your magnetic field starts looking like Swiss cheese, then that is when the entities that they call walk-ins and everything else have the ability to compromise you because you have compromised yourself,
mm,
right?
mm,
So as the brother engages in all of these STDs, which are sexually, spiritually transmitted diseases based on sexual interactions with entities and beings that you are not heartfelt connected with. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So the act, the induction and the acts of sex without the heart being involved, you're just operating below the waist. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying?
mm, mm,
And that's not very conducive to a scorpion because a scorpion has several stages. And the scorpion started out on his belly as a serpent. You
mm,
feel me? And the serpentine state means that you're still locked in your animal self.
mm.
But not only just animal, like primordial animal self,
Right.
reptilian brain,
Right.
right? You're only in it for the stimulus. You're only in it for the itch and the giggles,
Yeah.
right? There's no spiritual import whatsoever. You're not attempting to get up below your waistline at all into your heart and ultimately into your crown. You're not getting into your phoenix rising. You're not transmuting the sexual energy as not just scorpionic, because we are all Scorpios in that respect,
Mm,
right? That we utilize certain things to regenerate and transmute. If you're not getting into any of that whatsoever, it's just base.
mm,
And there's only but so much you're gonna grow by doing baseless things. So this brother, participated in a sub-base culture, and that's below the root chakra,
yeah.
right? And yeah, I think that he did serious damage to his auric field, his magnetic field, but it's even deeper than that because we spoke about the fact that we spoke about this years ago, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, when we were putting our eyes and our perspective on this, and people were saying, why are you guys spending so much time making observations about entertainers
Mm,
or about the art form and things of that nature? Because I said, once you tap into an artist, once you tap into their frequency, you tap into everything that comes along with it, not just what they show you on the surface. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? You're along for the entire ride, whether you realize that or not, because now you're immersed in their auric field.
mm, mm. That's facts. Have you have you ever, like, just from, a lot of people learn outside of the scientific terms when you give like a personal account. I
Mhm.
want to ask Blue, have you ever encountered somebody who, like, somebody in life and you was like, damn, this dude got, or this sister or whoever got a strong magnet, like you felt their aura, their magnetic field, like somebody like you felt like more than anybody else. And I give you an example. Two people I was around that like their aura field, their magnetic field, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, I'm around them was Delbert Blair. One time I got around Delbert Blair. I'm like, fuck, is that what's? I'm like, why I feel this? And then I remember I went to see Kanye perform at Made in America in Philly, and his aura was like fucking. This was during the Yeezy era when he used to wear the mask and shit like that. When he had on like, and yo, his aura was like insane, bro. Like insane, bro. But any personal accounts where you like encountered a magnetic field from someone or place or a thing, and you was like, wow.
You right, and
Radiohead Rich
and,
again. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
and I'm saying you because of your ability to tap into the latent consciousness that surrounds us, right? Interviewer, the ability to tap into you know, the latent information and ask the questions that might be on a person's mind, follow up with the questions and things of that nature, that means that you have a strong auric field because you're penetrating someone else's auric field and you're pulling from it, right? Things that have not yet been said, they may have been thought. And I'm just saying to show evidence of someone just on the other side that this person that you're dealing with has an active, you know what I'm saying, has active magnetism or strong auric fields.
Indeed.
Um,
By the way, shout out to Blue. Check out the interview Blue just did with Cornell West.
no West, yes.
Powerful interview, family. This I uploaded that video before this video. Check out that video, family. A great interview. So much, if so much attention has been on Trump and Kamala. Check out that interview, family. Everybody, check it out.
Please, yes, please do, y'all. It was amazing.
Amazing
Shout out
interview,
to the brother Cornell. You know what I mean? That's an individual. Like I said, who's like a father type to us, especially consciousness, because he stands on business. And melanated people really need somebody that is going all out for us, that has our agenda at the forefront. And I think that, you know, in hindsight, we're gonna look back at it and say, wow, there was really somebody in it that was for us. You know what I mean? And you're gonna see the benefit of that. Um, Shout out to my brother Black Dot and the Urban X family.
Dot said he felt that way. He felt that way around ODB.
ODB.
That's what's up.
And we're talking about presidential politics. I would also say the first time that I saw Obama before his auric field or his magnetic field was compromised by presidential politics, I saw him in 2007 at the Brooklyn Marriott. And I tell the story often. There was a brother in the community, Paul. I don't know if y'all remember him. He did about 2 or 3 legendary lectures in Harlem, and then he went to Nigeria. He disappeared.
Shout out to
Paul,
Paul,
brother. And he came and he just dropped bombs. He just his approach was crazy. But he was going at some elders in the community, so he wasn't that. And you know what I mean? They created a wall.
He got blackballed.
But he was dropping it. And bro said, look, if anybody comes in the name of hope, be very skeptic of them and run the other way. So here I am as a reporter. I'm at the Brooklyn Marriott covering this upstart who has a 0% chance whatsoever of becoming president, named Barack Obama. I said, I want to go and see it. You know what I mean? I'm listening to him, and his script was just so down pat. But I had got these goosebumps that I hadn't felt since I heard Life After Death. The last time I had goosebumps induced like that is when I heard Biggie's album. You know what I'm saying? And I knew better because, again, I'm not into politics. I'm into consciousness. You know what I mean? I'm Moorish. I got 2 IDs. I'm into, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not even gonna vote if I could, but I'm like, buddy got something about him that is making the hairs on my skin stand up. You feel me? And he just had that aura that he was winning everyone over. And I was like, wow, if he has this energy and this ability from the jump, you know what I mean? In a room full of people with quote unquote 0% chance, I'm like, imagine if this goes national and he gets embraced. So when I saw his ascension and I came back to Harlem and I told everybody what was about to happen, did I not, Red? I was not surprised at what I saw, his ascension, his meteoric rise, because he had a strong magnetism about him. He was able to collapse waves into particles before he got compromised.
A question for you and Red. Welcome to the show. Red Pillar has joined us. So much talk on not just in the conscious or spiritual community, but all over the internet about relationships. People are finding it harder than ever to be in relationships, especially people who have knowledge of self. They feel like they can't find somebody on their frequency. I want to ask you, what do you think is more important, since we're having this conversation today? People usually look for people who have the same level of knowledge they have, maybe about food, maybe about metaphysics, maybe about yoga, whatever. Do you think looking for somebody who's conscious, or do you think looking for somebody who has a strong magnetic field is more beneficial for somebody who's looking to be in a relationship? Because somebody with a strong magnetic field may not even be aware of the information we're talking about tonight, but they just got that strong presence about them. Which one do you think is more important for a person out there who's looking to find a mate that they're compatible with?
I would say undeniably that, based off of what Blue Pill just said about
Obama?
mm-mm,
About what?
deeper than that, the compromising of the integrity.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about magnetic fields, we could just talk about energy, and energy never dies,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And your purpose, once you figure out that it's all about your magnetic field and maintaining the integrity of it with integrity, that there's nothing that you can do to basically move. You can't move around that.
Right.
So the person who you choose to be your mate should be working step in step with you, hand in hand with you on all of your quote unquote journey to help you to maintain the integrity of your magnetic field by maintaining character, by not being selfish, by displaying works of art of love and things of that nature.
Mhm.
You don't want somebody that will compromise your integrity because they're like, yo, um we should go and celebrate, the Kamala inauguration, and I think Megan them is going to be doing WAP, so we just going to go and we're going to go twerk and whatnot. It's like
Man.
you be like, damn, I don't want to do that, you know what I mean, but I'm going to appease you and whatnot. I'm just saying I could take it to extremes and say terminate a child, right? And then there's something on your shoulder saying, you shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? You know that don't feel right. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You don't have to be in a religion. It doesn't matter what nationality you claim. You know right from wrong. You know when you follow universal law. You know when you are adhering to the principles where you feel invigorated by what you did rather than defeated. The woman that you are with, she should be the one that encourages you to move in that path where you don't compromise yourself. Because I promise you, from the P. Diddy's of the world, like Blue pointed out,
Mhm.
to all of the people that we saw fall in this semester or this last quarter, it was all dealing with misuse of power, the misuse of the phallus and whatnot, the abuse of all type of authority and whatnot, and not being able to control oneself, which leads to the integrity, right? Falling, and then you are susceptible to attack. So then you get taken over and you get attachments, and then you look like P. Diddy, who, if anybody in the community claims that, if anybody has a third eye open, or if anybody can see auras and whatnot, you can see that the man has what they call attachments all over him.
Yeah.
Yeah, certain body organs are utilized to maintain certain quote unquote things that they were made for. Duties and whatnot, right? They follow a certain constitution, like the digestive system. So when you go against that, right, then you begin to destroy what is known as your auric field
Right.
and your energy body. So even if you're with a woman that's encouraging you to do things of that's going to go against your human constitution or your manhood and things of that nature, you don't want that.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, but Red, did you have you want to share something? A presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you could put that up and then we could continue if
Okay.
you got that available now.
Okay. Awesome.
Uh, in terms while Red gets that together, once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Brother Red Pill just joined us. We
Yeah.
are having a magnificent conversation on the subtle energy body. Blue did a magnificent presentation a
He
couple of
did.
months ago on the
He
subtle
did.
energy body, and
Okay.
yeah, yeah, that was like that was fire. That was we was
Shout out.
what's his name? Walter what? What's the guy's name?
Walter Russell.
Walter Russell. Yeah.
Shout out to my brother, Yaki Awaken. I don't know if he saw the subtle energy body before his presentation. I just think that again, that might be the electromagnetism
Mm-hmm.
of us working coincidingly together. But everything he said, you know what I'm saying? I I I um I promote that 100,000%. You know, he really hit on because he termed it the light body, and it was right on time because I was attempting to. Shout out to my brother Sharif Bey as well.
Yes.
Shout out to you, brother Rich. Shout out to. I mean, these are the people because people keep asking me like, what started your fitness journey? Like, why did you start going Super Saiyan? And it was really after I did that presentation, and I went back and listened to it, and I'm like, am I just being theoretical with the information without applying it? Because I want everything that it offers. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that for myself. I want to be the living example of the information that I speak on. I just do not want to be behind the information. I want to be the information.
Right.
So
The living
yeah,
example, the testament.
yeah, I had to do the heavy lifting for the event for cooking for 500 people for 2 days. And I'm like, if people are, because this concept of like quiet quitting started hitting the community where people show up and they they just they be quiet quitting on you, and you be like, damn, what is this about? You feel me? Like, why are people not giving it their all? You know what I'm saying? Why they not going all out? And then the spirit was like, are you going all out? Are you giving it your all? Are you setting the example? You know what I'm saying? Is somebody gonna offer what you're not willing to offer for yourself?
Mm.
So it was an internal struggle with my body. Like Red said, there's certain organs when they get compromised, your body stops believing your story, your narrative.
And when one goes, all goes.
Yeah.
They're
So
all
your
intricately connected.
kidney and your liver specifically are the organs that you need to induce that level of faith, getting it up to the heart where the heart can now amplify the field. But if you got gaps in your aura and you have an unwillingness of your organs to listen to the sounds that you're making,
Hold
your
on,
heart
Blue.
is going to start.
Your
Go ahead.
organs are organisms. I just want to add that in there. They're not just organs, they're organisms. Each one of them, the heart, the lung, the liver, the stomach, all different organisms with their own magnetic energy field. Each one of them, all the way down to the cells, have magnetic fields. So that's how much they are tapped into that energy. But please go ahead.
Thank you. That was a beautiful summation. You know what I'm saying? The way that we are able to express the micro and the macro aspect of how these fields work together. And then you induce a field and you're working with other people's fields. And then we have a body politic as a, like, let's say diasporic melanated people. We represent a body. And that body got an auric field. Then you got humanity. Then you got the planet. Then you got, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And it's these concentric circles and these fields that are all interacting, wheels within wheels and fields within fields. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I think our good brother Dr. B Serious, he did an amazing show on this program last year, and it was called Quantum Field Nagas.
Woo. Ooh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic.
Uh-huh.
That was a classic. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so this is what we're speaking about, being quantum field nagas, more heavy on the nagas and less on the niggas because
Mm.
whew,
Shout out to Q Reeves.
Indeed. Shout out Q.
Reeves, right? So yeah, more nagas, less niggas. We got to get back, you know what I mean, to the naga aspect. And the naga aspect speaks to the serpentine aspect, but that serpentine aspect speaks to the most ancient of wisdom. Not
Right.
serpentine the way that they have, demonized the serpent, but the serpent that speaks specifically to the concentration of magnetic fields. The serpent was utilized in iconography in ancient times to speak specifically to the presence of magnetic fields.
Facts.
Talk to him, Blue. Come on.
Facts.
Come
Okay.
on. Come on.
So that's why I found myself rooting for Serpentor when I was growing up. I just wasn't into B.I. Joe like that. I'm like,
That
yeah, I
was
like
my
the
guy.
serpent guys, yeah, nagas.
Oh, you brought it back. Man,
My guy.
I ain't hear that
So
name in a minute.
our Mayan glyph, because we're twins, our Mayan glyph for our born day is red electric serpent. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a Scorpio, and all of these other things, iconography. So you're not gonna make me feel bad about the fact that what I mean. I'm connected to serpentine, Kundalini energy. Um, it's a task that we all have to master in this life. how do you balance it out? You know, because that serpentine, that's a feminine energy. You know what I mean? How do you master it? How do you balance it? Electromagnetism is the balance of masculine and feminine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is all again a wonderful opportunity to not only live this life, but be able to express it so other people can up the amplitude of how they're living their lives.
Indeed. Red, I see you just shared something at the bottom.
Yes,
You,
yes,
you want to go into it real quick, Red?
yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right. Let's
Yes.
take a look at.
Tonight's lesson, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be speaking on the magnetic fields of the human body. First and foremost, I want to say thank you, Brother Rich, for allowing me and Blue to come back to the platform to deliver this food for the family in this opportune time. This is the Jason months. This is the N in Jason. You know, they say it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish it. And we are affirming that we're moving into 2025 on a victory lap, all of us together as a collective.
Mhm.
And tonight's information is going to be information that's applicable to your upliftment. I think the most important information in the world right now is how to maintain your magnetic field. Okay, there's nothing else that trumps that.
Mhm.
The maintaining of your aura, the strengthening of it, the rebuilding and the restructuring of it. Okay, through practicing integrity and practicing good character and following some type of discipline. All right. Um,
Here we
this is Blue Pill's field of expertise. He loves to cook up the 5 platonic solids. Now, what tonight is going to do, we're going to allow people to actually walk away from here to be able to heal themselves or to strengthen themselves and give them things to do, doable things, right in the shadow of this Scorpion moon.
right.
Okay.
Right.
Rising power to Brother Panic as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
We are in the Day of the Dead still, and the ancestors and the spirits, and the subtle energies and whatnot. You know, I'm talking about the magnetic one. You know, we talking about the magnetic fields. The spirits are walking the veils of the thinnest today, right? And the energy that we don't see, but it is present all around us. It walks amongst us. All right. So it was said going and one thing about information that I want to share with people, and you're going to see, and this is to give credit to all of the new teachers that we have coming along. We
Mhm.
have to understand that information has no age, right? They've been contemplating certain information for thousands of years. There's information that rose up, went away, came back with a whole nother revolution or evolution or movement,
Yep.
disappeared, reappeared. So man has been contemplating data. Man is mind, and information, and that data is always on man's mind and whatnot. Going all the way back into the days of Plato, leading up to now, it was said that if you want to heal yourself, if you want to tap into another dimension, you would begin to gaze upon the Platonic solids. All right. These Platonic solids that are perfect in their symmetry and things of that nature. Um, they transmit consciousness. All right. Mankind has been interested in the Platonic solids for thousands of years. What is there about the Platonic solids that is so fascinating? This blog is the beginning of a new series that focuses on the Platonic solids within Metatron's cube. Talk black to me, Blue. Yeah, look at Blue. He like, that's my love language. In
uh,
order to visualize them more accurately, we need to think of the three-dimensional shape of Metatron's cube. This is why I have included this picture of Metatron's cube. I remember my first introduction to the Platonic solids, although we didn't call them Platonic solids back then. We called them wooden blocks. Yes, I remember as a young child playing with cubes, and I believe that there was some pyramids in there also. You talked about the pyramids earlier, Blue. My next memory of encountering the Platonic solids that I have was in high school in geometry class. And though there might have not been a lot of emphasis on Plato in his discussion on the Platonic solids, who can forget Pythagoras and the Pythagorean theorem? I remember spending quite a lot of time learning about triangles in geometry class. The next year, when I studied trigonometry, I, of course, learned about three-dimensional shapes, and the triangle turned into a pyramid, the square turned into a cube, and the circle turned into a sphere. And perhaps while you were in high school, you may have taken a chemistry class, and you might have learned how certain elements take the shapes of Platonic solids. All right. They may have been mentioned in passing in biology, and you were looking at single cell life forms. The Platonic solids are found throughout nature. Okay. They are found throughout nature. Do you want to add on anything, Blue?
Yeah, that if there was pyramids already built in Kemet before Plato or Socrates got there, again, it's a violation to our own magnetic fields to be utilizing these terms. But you know, we can do better, and we will.
Oh, of course we will. Of course we will. We just have, we say it now, but it will be renamed. It has to be renamed and given its proper connotation because it existed before Plato.
Mm-hmm.
I also remember learning about the Platonic solids while reading about old cathedrals and churches in Europe and their uses of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is a very interesting subject, and unfortunately, we don't have the time to get into these blogs. And then, of course, there's modern architecture. You may have heard of the famous architect Buckminster Fuller and his work with geodesic domes, right, which is notably based on the Platonic solids, right? So the geodetic domes, we was all over that 2010 and 11, the earth, the
earth mounds and
the domes and whatnot. Like Blue was saying, not squaring off the corners of the house, but rather having it as a dome. Okay. Shout out to the Vegas Sphere. Whoever's been there, that's a very magnificent spot right there.
Shout out to Lester Lovin.
Shout out to Lester Lovin all day.
Yes.
All day. All right. When working with a physical body, there are codes of consciousness that are passed from one cell to the next, creating what you see as a full physical body, a third-dimensional being. They work as unit cells, each repeating upon itself, maintaining the integrity of what it is. Each unit cell containing its own unique volume of consciousness. And these cells work adjacent to each other, building and creating human form. And this is why some cells become nerves, others become muscles, and even others become organs. And before I continue, even go further, I have to shout out KT the Arch Degree, because this is also his love language. This is what he talks about. This is what he breaks down when he talks about the cells and the individual cells and the power of the individual cells and how to unlock that power. And when you meditate, how you tap into each one of the cells. And then you got Dr. Sabi with the cell foods and the bioelectric. But when we, like Blue Pill said, the twin energies. So it's the electromagnetic energies. So it's the electric body, but it's also the magnetic fields, which is the most important things that we should be focusing on as a collective and as individuals. Keep in mind, negative thoughts like worrying, sorrow, and things of that nature, and arguing about unnecessary things like politics compromises the magnetic fields. It compromises the magnetic fields. Okay. The ramifications.
And yeah, just like you said, that ties into the biology, because again, we have to look at the body as a unit. We have to look at the body as a mechanism and an organism. So a compromised liver, right? Compromised liver is gonna induce envy, anger, frustration, guilt. All of those what they call the lesser evils, right? All of those exist within the liver.
Yes.
So there's certain chants, there's certain ohms, there's certain methodology, certain colors like green. There's a bunch of different methods that we can use to always make sure that the liver is healed, because these are the things that compromise magnetic fields. Continue, please.
Yes. Okay, now the ramifications, as you reflect on what I've just shared with you, help you to comprehend how we would call spirits or soul and move from our dense environment of the third dimension into an environment of expansion and open intelligence in the fifth dimension. When you pass from this world, the Platonic solids create a directive that moves human consciousness into your auric field and your conscious awareness back into the fifth dimensional dimension, while your physical cells decompose back into earth. Even Panic talked about this.
Yes, he did.
Okay. When working with the Platonic solids, you agree to work with the electromagnetic energies safely and intelligently, directing the shifts and the change. When you work with them, you work with the collective unit of them. The implication of that awareness is very profound. You become that electromagnetic frequency that through your intention and choices moving, shifting, and changing that which you work with. The intelligence contained within the Platonic solids and Metatron's cube is extraordinary. It has formed every object in our world. It exists within the ether. Humankind has yet to fully understand its potential. Some of these concepts may be new to you, like they were new to me. And I'm sure some of you may have questions. I will go deeper into these concepts in future blogs. So stay tuned. All right. So I just want you to contemplate on these sigils right here. Okay. The logo. Contemplate on these images and whatnot. If one were to defocalize or go into deep meditation or be on some type of quote unquote plant-based psychedelic, this is a love language. This is a window to so many answers that you may have. You can contemplate. Remember, contemplate, meaning that you just stare into something and think. Okay, man is mind and all is mental and whatnot. And you can contemplate based off of the level of intelligence that you possess
Yeah,
or based off of the intrigue that you may have. Go ahead.
somebody said it in the chat. These are electrical symbols. I'm gonna use these words continuously through this conversation. That's
Yes.
entrainment and inducement. You can entrain yourself, right, by observing these particular shapes, which are two-dimensional, but visualize them as three-dimensional. You know what I mean? See yourself within them. Um, and then it's not lost on me, Brother Rich. I listened to the program you had recently with the good brothers on the panel, and you spoke about Brother Polite. And,
Right.
you know, when you asked him his secret to manifestation, he said the utilization of Platonic solids
Yep.
to create the inducement or collapse waves into particles. And how would you do that? You would use solids. Platonic solids are the particles, right? These are the shapes of particles. And, you know, it's the same thing like when we speak about new moon invocations and intentions, setting your intentions, you know, how does that work? Not in a metaphysics sense, but how can we scientifically explain that? It's the same process. You know what I mean? You're scribing, you're writing your intentions on what's considered to be an open envelope, you know, and then you're collapsing it with a feeling. You're inducing the feeling to
Force.
create the response, right? That force is coming from the heart and it's collapsing it into your reality. It's magnetizing it. So, yeah, these sigils, these shapes are integral to us making certain things happen. And you know, they keep leaving the Tesseract out. Shout out to you again, Brother Rich, for
Yes.
Robert Grant, his program that you had here on Black Magic was profound. I don't know if the audience understands the level of the implications of what he came and shared on this program. I would ask us to go back. You know what I mean? Some of these programs need journals attached to them and whole like and
For sure.
researches.
Right.
Yeah.
Like white papers and research papers.
Indeed. But yeah, like Blue said, feeling is the prayer. Feeling is the prayer. Neville Goddard style. Well, go ahead, Red. Had to say that.
Yeah. So here we have the correlation of the Platonic solids with your chakra system. Okay. So even when it's time to contemplate these quote unquote Platonic solids, you are now able to lock it in with your chakra systems. All right. So let us continue. Okay. And
Go
this
back
is,
there real quick. Can you go back
yeah.
just for a second? Like even when we look at the solar plexus, tetrahedron, fire, what does pyramid mean? The fire within.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then we look at the heart, star tetrahedron, love, the
Merkaba.
right? How do you travel in and out of here? Right? It has to be on a Merkaba. Think about an electron, right? Think about how it appears and disappears and it goes into one realm and the next. micro
Spooky
macro,
things at a
right?
distance, right?
Spooky things at a distance, quantum entanglement. You're looking at twins, right? Hence the fact that once again, the all creation mythos was centered around what two things?
Right.
Serpents and twins. Why?
Right.
Because of their both of their ability to demonstrate what magnetic fields do at a spooky distance, dealing with quantum entanglement.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They said that
Mm.
you could put me on the other side of the universe. If he feels something or undergoes or experiences something, I do simultaneously. But we're all quantum entangled, right? Our
Right.
job as singulars to come here is to experience what the plurals naturally go through. The plurals would be the twins, right? We cannot survive or subsist on the planet as individuals. You feel me? A baby or a child cannot come to this planet and survive without the care of a parent. Why? Because the love hormone is the strongest hormone of them all,
Mm.
oxytocin, right? And that deals with interaction, interface, and social interactions, getting hugs, simple things like that.
Right.
Again, and I'm speaking specifically to the things that speak to the heart and heal the heart that allow you to have a strong magnetic field. The stronger your magnetic field, the stronger your ability to influence the planet, and be that high tide that lifts boats. Get into your Christ consciousness. You can't be Christ like without
Right.
understanding the science. Continue.
Super facts. So here we have a 3D visual of what these look like, okay, outside of the 2D realm. So this is also something that you could use in your meditation as you contemplate. For all of my designers and my coders out there, the challenge is out there for you to create some very powerful imagery, especially with the new AI tools that are available. You could literally prompt this into multiple engines right now and create 3D Metatron, 3D Platonic solids. Pythagoras and his followers in the Pythagorean school considered geometric solids to be symbols of cosmic and metaphysical truths. They saw geometry as the language of the universe, believing that by contemplating the forms and properties of geometric shapes, one could connect with the underlying order and harmony of the cosmos. Here's a breakdown of how Pythagoras and his followers approached the contemplation of geometric solids. So, this is the applicable science, family. This is what you can literally do right now. It's something that you can do in the comfort of your home. Sacred geometry and the Pythagorean worldview. Henceforth, why so many lodges and whatnot pay homage and are set up and utilize him as the quote unquote cornerstone. Unity of mathematics and mysticism. Pythagoras viewed mathematics and geometry not only as a practical sciences, but as sacred tools for understanding universal truths. His school believed that numbers and shapes revealed the inherent order and harmony of nature and the divine. Who heard about the new thing that they're doing? It's catching on as a trend where they're taking Bufu and they're staring at red lasers and they're seeing the code of the universe. Who knows
What?
about that? There's a trailer to a documentary about that. They're taking Bufu,
I heard you.
right, and they're staring at a red laser and they're seeing the codes.
Come
It's
on now.
taking them. Yes, yes. So this is the contemplating. They're contemplating certain things.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe I'm a student of Pythagorean because that's what I be doing in terms of the numbers and the shapes revealing the inherent
Look,
order and harmony and nature of the divine. But let's
look. I
continue.
know the black magic audience. They ill with it. Somebody is going to drop the link. So I'm just referencing it. Somebody will drop the link because they have already saw it. It's not even something underground. It's above ground, but it's really showing how this thing is a simulation, and they have proof now. But let's continue. Just when I read that, where he believed that the numbers and shapes revealed the inherent order and harmony of nature and the divine. So that's like, pi, I'm talking about,
Well,
uh,
44.
law of 44, I'm talking about, geometric solids as archetypical forms, or yes, or the Pythagoreans saw geometric solids as archetypes or pure forms that existed beyond the physical realm, embodying metaphysical principles. Contemplating these forms was a way to transcend the material world and access higher knowledge. Okay.
Mm.
So just think about where this can take you,
Mm.
right? Just think about where this can take you in the right mind, or, you know, especially with the right magnetic charge that you're having, where you're able to connect. And it's almost like having a strong Wi-Fi signal. You're able to connect to a magnetic, to a field, right? To a certain channel, because even the television station and the quote unquote internet and whatnot, it's tuned to different frequencies or different channels inside of the electromagnetic field, and they don't cross lines. They all have separate channels and whatnot. You can't see it, but it still exists. There's proof of it existing. Proof of work is the fact that the radio works.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Kwame Sunhorse.
Kwame. Yes.
Shout out to Kwame. The 5 Platonic solids. Okay. Foundation of cosmic elements. The Pythagoreans studied the 5 Platonic solids: tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, dodahedron, isosahedron, long before Plato, although Plato would later attribute these shapes to the fundamental elements in his writings.
Mm-hmm.
The Pythagoreans believed each shape was connected to an element and could be used to understand nature's structure. Okay. Tetrahedron, 4 triangular faces associated with fire, representing energy transformation and the dynamic nature of the cosmos. Cube, 6 square faces linked to earth, symbolizing stability, structure, and the material realm. Octahedron, 8 triangular faces related to air, embodying balance, clarity, and the mental or spiritual insight. Dodecahedron, 12 pentagonal,
Dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron, 12 pentagonal faces considered to be connected with the cosmos or ether, representing the universe and the divine or spiritual realm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Icosahedron.
Icosahedron. Right.
Icosahedron, 20 triangular faces associated with water, representing fluidity, adaptability, and the interconnectedness of life.
So let me just share this real quick. When I asked our brother Lester Lovin, the master scientist, I was like, is the earth round or flat? He said it's both. He said, think about it like a dodecahedron, like a soccer ball.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that has changed my when I visualize, I utilize those shapes to understand that everyone is right and wrong at the same time, but to have mercy and grace with that process. And that helped my heart, because boy,
They'll come after you, huh?
Man.
I mean, just saying, the flat earth is a very aggressive and very judgmental in what you either know or don't know. And you, again, this concept of allowing people to trigger you speaks to this presentation as well, because anytime that you get triggered and you produce cortisol in your body,
Yes.
you are looking at a 7-hour spike, right, coming down from cortisol production. And this is the things that tear up your magnetic field when you induce anger, right? When you're weakening your kidney, you feel
Right.
me? So you really got to protect your peace.
Right, because keep in mind, family, the person that's attacking you, they're gonna incur more damage than the person that's being attacked if you know how to repel that attack. You know what I mean? That person who's living with hate, that's gonna affect their magnetic field. The one who gossips, the one who speaks down on people, somebody who talks crazy to you, you just say, "Well, God bless you. That's what you're going through. I receive it." You know what I mean? And keep it moving. You want to avoid conflict. You want to avoid feeding into any type of negativity. Um, when we were speaking of the Platonic solids, these are something that you can utilize in the realm of carrying this around in your pocket to contemplate, to visualize, to focus on, to meditate on a lunch break, to even have all of these platonic solids on your person, okay, has a benefit, especially when you know how to activate the power that they hold. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Blue, you want to say something? Because I want to ask you something,
Yeah,
Blue.
I want you to say it first. Yes, I'm
Well,
listening.
I don't. Let me ask you this real quick, Blue, real quick. Because you said something just now about anger and a cortisol spike, a 7 hour spike. It takes 7 hours to recover from anger. My question to
Yes.
you, Blue. My question to you, Blue, is I'm curious about the interaction between two magnetic fields. Say it's me and another individual, right? So say
Mm-hmm.
I display my anger toward this individual, and I'm like rah 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 rah, and he gives me anger back, and I
Mm-hmm.
give him anger, and he gives me anger back, and then it's almost like I feed off the anger. I triggered him, and now he's giving me more anger. So that's one
Mm-hmm.
situation, right, Blue? Another
Mm-hmm.
situation, I'm angry at a person, and they just like, peace, my brother, whatever, you got it. Walk away. Now I feel like an asshole, and I feel like, oh shit, what did I just do? Is it a different response in my body when somebody responds back with anger versus if somebody just ignores me and gives me the love, the head nod, like, ah, you got it, brother? Does it affect my body differently, Blue?
Yes, yes. There is recent research that shows that each time that you resist anger, you rewire your brain to become more loving. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So you're actually strengthening your auric field when you resist the temptation or the offer to get into, the mudslinging. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
When you like, nah, I don't want to have a mud fight, that strengthens your auric field. That
Your
strengthens your
auric,
magnetic
right.
field. You get
Mm-hmm.
stronger, and your love is induced, right? Your love induction, meaning, they're just speaking about your heart frequency. It becomes that much more stronger. Um, when I don't know if we're gonna get into it now. I would love for you to get back into that question that you asked about relationship, because this concept about the heart wall is what we really got to talk about.
Mm,
We
mm,
really got to
mm,
Mm.
talk about that, specifically if we're speaking about ourselves as a people who are used to trauma bonding. If we look at ourselves as a body politic of people who are used to trauma bonding, but the people who have the strongest hearts or auric, because we are able to utilize iron the best, right? Shout out to Dr. Sabi when he speaks about the African biomineral balance, and our ability to utilize iron in ways in which other physiologies don't or are not able to. And that gets back into, again, our god bodies, our physiology. You know what I'm saying? Why we're able to do these things with iron, why our carbon and that iron work specific ways, why that carbon, that iron, and that, water, hydrogen, you know what I'm saying? All of these are inducing greater fields. you know Women can induce it even more because they replenish iron at a faster pace because they go through their monthly cycles. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
mm,
So the heart walls that we build up because of heartache and heartbreak, you know what I'm saying?
mm,
People saying things and not doing them, being let down, right? Or just the epigenetics of trauma bonding, the fact that, we feel that some things have been done to us that have not been, we're not dealing with equanimity in the world. We like, damn, we just been catching L's, and you know what I'm saying? We haven't returned the favor or what have you. So you have this anger and this revenge and all of these lower energies that are causing us to be heavier and heavier when you think about transmuting lead into gold. And the gold that they're speaking about is ormus gold. So that's gold that's not the metal gold, it's
mm,
powder gold. Shout out to Sharif Bey,
mm,
right?
mm,
It's zero weight.
mm,
So it's light as a feather. That gold. They ain't talking about physical element of gold. It's talking about white powder gold.
Mm.
Transmutation, the proper alchemical transmutation of taking a regular body to a god body
mm,
or a gold body, right? We got to get past the
Also,
heartache. You know what I mean? We got to break down the heart wall that we have built up to protect our hearts from the punctuation of inauthenticity.
mm. The number 2 or
Right.
3 killer is heart disease.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Number one amongst melanated people.
Yeah.
Let's
Number
speak
1.
about that.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of fatty foods. It's mainly because of the heartache, the
Remember,
having
Blue,
a heartbreak,
right?
and that's
This
gonna
is
take us out quicker than anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right. So it's been said that the formulation of dis-ease in the organs is a result of the electronic or the energy field or the magnetic field of that organ being compromised and collapsing, or not even collapsing, just being compromised, which will lead to it to quote unquote begin to uh dis-ease or show signs of entropy and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know,
Indeed. Yeah. Wow. Amazing conversation. Red, do you have any more slides you want
I
to
got a
go?
lot of slides. I'm gonna offer
Yeah, let's run through them.
select members, this will be available for the family to contemplate. You know what I mean? I don't want to hold the
Thank you
information
for
or
this,
hoard it,
Red.
huh?
Thank you for this.
Yes. So
Indeed.
I'll move through it. I did want to tap into something real quick.
Red got a whole
Hold on,
My
bro.
goddamn
guy
Red.
right here. My
You
guy
guys
right
might have
here
to go back like 2 or 3 of them joints. Hold on, son.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, shout out
Of
right there.
course, something that Blue talks about with the Corona rising, and this is also what we're going to be speaking of in our November presentation, the rise of the super sapiens. And also just something that other scholars on this platform have spoken of so eloquently, and it's about the effect of the sun. And even with you with the black sun, Rich, like it's the proof. It's not even the science, because science, it irks me when I hear it. I like to say alchemy or alchemist, because an
Mhm.
alchemist trumps a scientist, because a scientist doesn't even adhere to any type of, they don't adhere to spirituality and metaphysics and things of that nature. They don't intertwine, the esoteric aspects of what's taking place. They don't even have to adhere to any, huh?
They left brain.
They
They're
left
not
brain.
right hemisync. They're not incorporating that right brain in it, which is what we're doing right now. So let's
Right.
continue.
Right.
No, go back, bro.
Okay.
Hey, don't run through that, please. Because
So, mhm.
you want me to, I'll put a bow on it that you could take it from there. Or
Yeah,
you
do
want to
your,
finish
yes,
that
yes.
and I do
Dress
it?
them
Go
up.
ahead.
Yes.
Now go ahead, do that, and I'll
Okay.
put a
The
period.
sun, magnetic fields in the human mind and body. Okay, family. The effects on the pineal gland. The pineal gland, sometimes called the third eye, is sensitive to both light and electromagnetic fields. The sun's light affects pineal gland activity, influencing melatonin production. The pineal gland's sensitivity to light and potentially geomagnetic fields has led some to believe that it may play a role in our natural alignment with Earth's rhythms. Mental and emotional influence. Sun exposure is linked to serotonin production, the feel good neurotransmitter associated with mood, right? And mood, positive, it strengthens the magnetic
Field.
field, and negative moods, it weakens it.
Yes.
Seasonal changes in sunlight can affect serotonin levels, which is why some people experience seasonal affective disorder, SAD, during the darker winter months. Although Earth's magnetic field's direct influence on human emotions is less clear, it's hypothesized that electromagnetic fluctuations could affect brainwave activity and, by extension, mood and cognition.
Mhm.
So even as they say that the Earth's magnetic fields is beginning to flip in reverse, you're
Mhm.
seeing that effect in certain people in reality, in real life. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to give a full shout out, 100,000,000,000% shout out to KT the Arts Degree.
Bleh.
Not only
Birthday
tomorrow's
tomorrow.
Monday and on daylight saving times, right? you know, but the brother's really a gift to humanity, not just my family, you know, but to humanity. And the information that he's been bringing for so long, you know, I really did not start overstanding it until this year, like fully, when I started incorporating into these modalities and these practices of, you know, really pushing my body past its limits and learning things about the anatomy that, you know, I was exposed to. But I, yes, shout out to the Fido. I've been taking that. You know, today I registered at, I think, 146 pounds. And when I started my journey, I was 130 pounds. And I, you know, my goal body challenge to myself was to get to 144 pounds. And I gave myself 144 days. I did it in 79 days, which is the atomic number of gold. In the on the day the gold hit its all-time high, and its all-time high was hit after 44 years. So I just think that was pretty dynamic.
Blue be
Um,
knowing them numbers, man.
but
Blue
KT has been speaking about light
be-
forever and a day. And all of my research, I went and researched all of the bodybuilder dudes. I researched everything that was being said about this God body anatomy. And family, you got to understand that weightlifting and body you know, body sculpting and all of that stuff, that's the last, that institution right there was built off of racism.
Mm,
And it was built off of the back of what happened with the Ubermeister, or the Superman, coming out of Germany, and Joe Weider and them bringing in Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Austrian. This was really them hating on the melanated physiology and attempting utilizing juice and stuff like that to
mhm.
make comparisons to who we are. This is something that I have taken personally to, you know, go into that particular field and finish my breakfast, because it's really based on, it was built upon, you know, racism, if you will. So I studied everything that them guys was saying. I studied all of their nutrition advice and what have you. And it all comes back down to sunlight. You know what I mean? Nutrition is third or fourth when it comes to building the body. Everything is about sunlight. And even the reason that me and Red are here today doing this presentation about magnetic fields speaks specifically to sunlight, right? To infrared and UV. That's what it all comes down to. And like he said, it's all about grounding. It's all about sun gazing and sun grazing, catching the sun when it rises between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., when testosterone is peaking, you know what I mean, at its highest level. We have to understand these cycles, even going back to the circadian rhythm of the planet. We have to understand, you know, what these numbers are and what they represent. And specifically to what we're speaking about with magnetic fields, our magnetic fields are tied directly to the Schumann resonance of the planet. And the way that you induce that is by grounding, right? Connecting with the earth, tapping into the electromagnetism, that latent power that is available on the ground. And then you have the ability to tap into the Schumann resonance. There's no coincidence that the Schumann resonance of the planet, 7.83, resonates around the same pH level of what's considered alkaline and acid. You feel me? So we have the illest vehicle, you know, that we got here with and to get up out of here with.
Mhm.
You have to get to know how to operate this vehicle to have the best experience and leave the best imprint on this planet. And the best imprint on this planet that we can leave is a blueprint of how other people can get up out of here. Right. So shout out to KT, the arts degree, man, for just so many years being consistent and persistent with the highest level of information. You know what I mean? I ain't get it until this year, but now that I got it, wow, wow, you know.
Indeed. God damn. Speaking of light, somebody in the chat said, could you sacrifice your eyesight to sun gaze all day? God damn, nigga willing to go blind to sun gaze. God damn, brother. Okay. What?
Yeah,
Oh,
brother, yeah, don't sun
shit.
gaze all day. There are
Jesus
specific
Christ.
periods and pockets of times which are conducive to you sun gazing, and that would be like the first 3 hours when
Yeah.
the sun comes up, and the last, you know, hour when it goes down. again, understanding the infrared, which is red light, and the UV, which is the blue light. Hence the fact I got these blue light blockers on right now, right? It's an exact, concise science. You can't do blue without red and vice versa. They have to be together. And the only way that you're going to capture that dynamic is catching the sunrise sunlight.
Yep.
That's my piece.
Yep. KT put me on to that too. Go ahead, Red. You want to give us some more of these gems from your slides, my brother?
Yeah, let's run it.
Before we get to this Q&A.
We can't hear you, Red. You on mute.
You on mute, Red? Oh, did I put him on mute or? No, that's him.
We're in timeout. Let's get it. All right, there you go.
Yeah, nah. I had to do a little switch up. Blue in here talking that talk, and he brought up the infrared and the UV, and that was deep. That was deep. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, let's say UV is ultraviolet, y'all. So ultraviolet is that spectrum when you look at, let's take the ajna to the crown. You know what I'm saying? You got the blue, then you got the violet. We talking, up there, them levels, that frequency.
Yeah, so I had to go ahead and switch it up real quick. You know what I mean? Because you talking that talk. You know what I'm talking about? You talking that talk.
Right,
but look,
like Prince. Yeah, there we go.
This is my aura picture right here.
I
had to put myself out there. So, I'm a very private person.
Okay.
But,
Getting your life together.
Yeah, this is my auric picture. And, it's just showing proof of the fact that my aura is intact. You know what I mean? This is not something that's very easy to come about. You know what I mean? And this takes a lot of work. And I'm still working. You feel me?
Indeed.
But Manly P is a monster. You feel me? Anybody out there who may be unfamiliar with his work, not just me, Blue, and Rich, but many of the master teachers, many of our teachers have tapped into the teachings of Manly P Hall, okay, and have benefited from it. He makes the information very palatable, okay? Let's just talk about some of the things that he spoke on before we get out of here. Manly P. Hall, a noted scholar of metaphysics, philosophy, and mysticism, explored the concept of magnetic fields within the human body in his works, particularly in relation to health, spirituality, and the mind-body connection. According to Hall, the human magnetic field, sometimes referred to as an aura or vital force, plays an essential role in both physical health and spiritual well-being. Here's a breakdown on how he viewed this concept. Human magnetism in the aura, vital energy field. Hall believed that each person possesses a unique magnetic field that surrounds their body, often referred to as the aura. This field is more than just a byproduct of physical processes. It reflects one's health, emotions, and spiritual state. Reflection of inner state. The aura is influenced by thoughts, emotions, and intentions. Hall suggested that positive, constructive thoughts strengthen this magnetic field, while negative thoughts or emotions can deplete or distort it. A harmonious aura signifies balance within the individual, while disruptions in the aura reflect imbalances or disturbances in the body, mind, or spirit. And I would just say that, think about drill rap. Think about people making fun of people who may transition and clowning them and whatnot, or rapping about killing one's other ops, and the billions of dollars that got invested in that by these companies and whatnot. They understand that the music is going to negatively affect people's auric field, and then they're going to invest or hedge against insurance, feel me, and other things. Like they invest in the prison system. So they're helping to poison the electromagnetic airwaves, you know what I mean, with these with a lot of low frequencies and whatnot. The role of the magnetic field in health, healing, and vitality. According to Hall, the magnetic field is essential for health and vitality. This field is connected to the life force, which is considered crucial for physical and emotional well-being. When the field is strong, it supports the body's natural healing processes and helps protect against illnesses and fatigue. A lot of people are having mental issues. They're having breakdowns and whatnot. they're having emotional issues, crying, you know, not being able to control ones, that may be considered a breach in your aura or your magnetic field, and you can fix that. Energy exchange and protection. Hall emphasized that the human magnetic field acts as a protector against external energies and influences. They got everybody on the internet as an influencer, right? And they're letting low lives and degenerates influence people. Shout out to Cardi B at the reading off her phone. No disrespect, but I'm just saying this campaign showed you how they platformed these people that they call influencers. It's 95. It's Friday, and did she do fuck nigga? Did she do effing? Did Glorilla do fuck nigga free? I didn't see that. I wasn't there. I missed out, guys. I know I heard her do TGIF.
Oh boy.
So they're giving you certain personas and whatnot. They're platforming them, and then they're telling you that this is what this is what you go with and whatnot.
They're allowing people with gaps in their auric fields to be influencers off of over the masses utilizing the airwaves. And Manly P. Hall spoke specifically against that, right? To be mindful of negative, and we ain't talking negative ions in this perspective. We're speaking about negativity being broadcast across airwaves. It can weaken your auric / magnetic field.
Yes.
So we see what they're doing. And then the deduction of it at 440 hertz is chopping up,
man,
tearing up
like a switch.
Yeah.
Energy exchange and protection. Hall emphasized that the human magnetic field acts as a buffer against external energies and influences. When balanced, it protects the body from harmful forces, both environmental, like other people's negativity, and psychic, like the psychic attacks that people get through the gang stalking, through the computers, through other ways. Hall advised strengthening the magnetic field through positive lifestyle choices, right? Meditation and ethical living to maintain one's health and protect against energetic pollution. Out of all of the candidates that I heard, Cornel West represented the most viable blueprint and plan to maintain that right there, to maintain a strong auric field and a magnetic field. Whatever he's talking about, from what I heard, he would help people maintain. That's why even in certain places, like a strong where they like Russia and China, right, where they lean on discipline and they lean on people living a certain type of lifestyle, and there's a punishment that's attached to that. You just can't do what you want to do. It's very strict. However, they could produce more powerful people who could project a very much more stronger auric field in their population than places where anything goes. Magnetism and spiritual development. Auras as an expression of spiritual progress. Hall viewed the human magnetic field as indicative of spiritual advancement. Individuals who pursue a life of wisdom, virtue, and self-awareness cultivate a more radiant and balanced aura, which reflects their higher state of consciousness. That would be the Black Magic 363 family, the KT aliens, the students. This is what they're walking towards. Higher vibrations. According to Hall, the practice of meditation, kindness, and altruistic living enhances the quality of the magnetic field by raising its vibrational frequency. This elevated energy creates a harmonious state that resonates with cosmic or divine forces, drawing individuals closer to spiritual alignment. Connection with universal energy. Hall suggested that the human magnetic field aligns with larger cosmic forces, implying a connection to the Earth's magnetic field and even the magnetic fields of celestial bodies like the sun. Okay, imagine the Wi-Fi connecting to the Wi-Fi of the sun. Okay. This interconnectedness means that by enhancing one's own magnetism, one can align more closely with the universe's higher energies. Magnetic field and relationships, interpersonal attraction and influence. Hall argued that human relationships are partly governed by magnetism, where individuals resonate with or repel each other based on the compatibility of their energy levels. Has anybody ever been in a relationship and when the energy changes, that person is no longer magnetized towards you? It's like, ooh, what is that?
Facts.
Yeah.
And you just forget them. You could do without them.
You
You
repel
like,
them.
yo, please, you repel them, get away 6 feet, please. People with balanced and strong magnetic fields tend to attract others with similar energies, right? Equally yoked. The balloon popping show, healing others. Hall also suggested that individuals with strong magnetic fields can influence and uplift others. So when certain people come home from doing a bid, when they've taken away and whatnot, their return invigorates and it gives hope and it gives invigoration and it charges up the grid like Young Thug coming home. Wait till you see how people are gonna react, right? When certain people walk into the room, they change the whole room. They uplift people, even if it's a somber mood and whatnot. When they show up, everybody starts getting happy and lit and whatnot. Strong magnetic field.
Right. Let me
This
finish reading
influence,
that for you.
huh?
Let me help you with this,
Yes.
right? Let's do the red and blue thing. This influence can manifest as a calming presence or even as a healing effect where one's aura helps to restore balance in another person's fields. In his view, healers and mystics with advanced self-control and high moral character possess powerful magnetic fields that enable them to offer such assistance. Let me just get on my Pope Pablo real quick.
Come on.
So,
Sabi had that.
so even if we do not consider the story of Jesus to be a literal one, right? The narrative that they're speaking about is that he never compromised himself, right? His authenticity factor remained intact until, until they strung him up. You feel me? But I was also listening to a scientist who was breaking down the physics of this, not the metaphysics, but the physics of actually being a healer who has a strong magnetic field that can heal the world, right? You can literally send it out into the world and heal it. And her suggestion, based on the physiology of what that would take, she said that it had to be somebody with a, a, a lean mass under 8%. So in essence, what she was saying is that athletic builds equal strong magnetic fields, right? The more fit that you are, the less fat that you have, the more lean that you have the ability to create a stronger magnetic field because it all comes down to the heart. So your vascular health is everything. Your induction ability through your body, through creating these electrical currents and sending them out, is everything, right? Your myelin sheath is everything. It all goes back to the physiology. It all goes to physics, not just metaphysics, but physics. You know what I mean? And again, even with, because person asks about sun gazing and sun grazing and sunbathing, it's imperative that you also not just go out and utilize or expose your physical. Make sure that you're exposing your gut to the sun, right? Your gut. This is where serotonin is formulated. This is where the dopamine receptors are at. They're not in the brain. And receiving sunlight through the eyes is one thing, and that activates a process that is needed and necessary. But they don't speak enough about the sun hitting the gut and the skin receptors of the gut, the importance that the gut plays into all of this. The magnetic field specifically speaking to gut induction and the neurons that take place in the gut, the microbiome and everything. Before the nutrition kicks in, you have to feed the gut sunlight between the
So
hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. preferably. Again, shout out to KT. Shout out to Dr. Jack Cruz. If you need a European co-signing of this information, because I know how it gets sometimes. I know how it gets.
Oh, powerful,
So
powerful.
we could wear the crop hoodies.
Hey man, come on, Red. Come
I'm
on, man.
saying.
Come
I'm
on.
trying to figure it out what Blue said. Strengthening the magnetic field. Meditation and mindfulness. Hall advised that meditation is a powerful way to cultivate and strengthen the magnetic field, quieting the mind, focusing on inner peace, and engaging in practices like visualization can help harmonize and expand the aura.
Ethical living and intentionality. He emphasized that living with integrity, pursuing higher knowledge, and cultivating compassion are foundational to developing a resilient and positive magnetic field. According to Hall, individuals who avoid negative thoughts, emotion, and actions naturally strengthen their aura.
Physical practices. Hall also noted the importance of maintaining physical health through proper diet, exercise, and breathing techniques. Physical well being directly affects the strength of the magnetic field as a healthy body supports a balanced energy system. Okay.
That part. Right.
Strengthens you. Magnetic field and the mind body connection, thoughts as energy. Hall saw thoughts as a form of energy that directly influences the magnetic field. Positive thoughts can amplify the field, creating a vibrant and harmonious aura, while negative thoughts can drain or destabilize it. He advocated for mental discipline to foster beneficial thoughts and maintain mental clarity, which in turn strengthens the magnetic field.
The importance of balance. The magnetic field reflects the overall harmony between body, mind, and spirit. Hall's perspective on holistic wellness emphasized that physical, mental, and emotional aspects of oneself are interconnected, and that any imbalance disrupts the magnetic field, manifesting as stress, illness, or spiritual unrest. Manly P. Hall saw the magnetic field of the human body as an essential component of health, spirituality, and interpersonal dynamics. He taught that the aura is not only a reflection of one's physical and mental state, but also a tool for spiritual growth. Through meditation, ethical living, and self discipline, individuals can cultivate a strong, harmonious magnetic field that promotes health, protects from negativity, enhances relationships, and connects them to universal energies. This view encourages a holistic approach where caring for body, mind, and spirit strengthens the magnetic field, fostering resilience, vitality, and spiritual alignment. And I just want to punctuate that by saying, as people that are considered in this community leaders or influencers or messengers or whatever they frame our reference as. Some people have savior complexes. They want to actually save the world. And I'm not dismissive of that. I'm saying that you can only give what you have in abundance. You know what I'm saying? And it's very hard to physically do that. When you prioritize yourself, though, when you're there for yourself, when you really understand the importance of self-care and you're pouring into yourself and self-loving yourself, and and again, inducing oxytocin production by hugging on yourself, not waiting for nobody to hug on you.
Right.
These are the ways that you can help. Right. So to the young brothers and sisters that are on this path that really want to be impactful and effective, and you got the rest of your life to look forward to perfect this methodology, understand that it all starts with self. And the more that you prioritize self, the more help that you'll be doing to the outer world. When you lift yourself, you're going to lift others specifically, right?
Facts. Yeah.
On self.
Super facts. I could keep going, but you let me know, Rich. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Let,
saying?
let me get to some Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to get to a good amount of Q&A before we get out of here. I see that
Okay.
the chat has been pretty active all night. I want to run something by before we do that because Blue wanted to bring up the whole heart thing again. And we was talking about that right
I
before.
had some hard bars just now. I promise you, I had some hard bars right there.
Let me lay
Okay.
this down and then you could go into that.
Yeah.
Blue could touch on that. I just want to read something real quick.
Please.
Each human cells, and keep in mind, we're talking about the heart, and me and Blue had a great conversation to begin this talk about us being antennas, the hair being antennas, just us being receivers of consciousness, right?
Yes.
Each human cell contains approximately 2 meters of DNA. If stretched end to end, wait, let me read this. Okay. If all the DNA in the body was put end to end, it would reach the sun and back over 600 times, 100 trillion times, 6 feet divided by 92 million miles. This would mean that each person has around 60 trillion feet or about 10 billion miles of DNA inside of them. Why is that important? DNA is fractal antennas. So imagine, like you know how we look at CERN and we look at the machine and we're like,
Right.
damn, that's a big motherfucker. Imagine having a machine with 10 billion miles of DNA. The only reason we don't know is it's able, like our hair.
It's
The,
coiled.
the
It's
DNA is
coiled.
like our hair.
Right.
So it could call really. It's that what the ladies call it, that 4C. It's the DNA is that 4C. You know what I'm saying? But family, we're walking around with 10 billion miles worth of antenna. Now this is
Crazy.
important, and this is what me and Blue was touching on. I heard Greg Braden and as well as Bruce Lipton, as well as many others touch on this.
Yes.
The DNA understands the language of the heart. The heart communicates. We know about epigenetics and the environment. They say the environment changes the DNA. But what about the environment? Your emotional response to the environment. So your heart communicates with the DNA. The DNA communicates with the photon light particles that produce matter. So this is how we're able to change the world according to all these brilliant individuals. With that being said, if we got a heart wall on a 10 billion mile technology,
Man.
come on now. We got a heart wall on a 10 billion mile technology. Can't access 10 billion miles worth of technology because we're coming from the brain and not. Come on now, we gotta change this.
Come on now. Yeah. You need a bomb.
we gotta change this shit, bro. The field, the field, quantum field understands the language of the heart, family. This is why me and Blue was saying what we were saying earlier, and I just want to start it with that and let you and Blue, Red, go into what y'all was going to. But 10 billion miles worth of antennas inside us, bro.
You lined that up so beautifully.
Yeah, that was it.
Again, shout out to KT when he spoke on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if we was ready for it, right? But you literally have a ladder that reaches to the sun. That's why I be outside, showing people in real time. I'm like, you could sun the sun. I learned to be respectful because of fire, but I'm like, bro, the water in your body's older than the sun. Let's stop it.
The worship,
right?
The worshiping, right? Stop the worshiping, right?
No, stop thinking of yourself so small.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You're greater than. You had a relationship with, and we got to respect it and understand it for what it is. But you are the universe, not part and parcel of it. You are the universe.
Mm.
Right? We literally have a ladder that can reach there and come back. So how far is it? Distance is an illusion. And you're thinking too small of yourself. You got a little sun inside of you. Just focus and work on that. And you'll see how the big sun outside of you responds to you.
Facts.
That's what I teach through the breath work. I'm showing people how to make the sun amplified, how to make it stronger, how to make it brighter, how to make it hotter. And I'm like, if we doing this and it's not in your mind or your imagination, I'm like, you connected to that thing. But you go beyond it. We're connected to the sun behind the sun, which is the black sun, which is mama. So yeah, and man, you really put it in perspective. But yeah, Red, touch on that.
Okay. Let me get the slide back in the thing.
I hope y'all taking this conversation serious, y'all. This is some serious gems being dropped tonight, y'all. I really hope y'all. Yeah, this is good.
And
can you open up? Can I put this back?
Oh
on?
yeah.
As because I changed my whole ministries up. You know what I mean? Like I literally, I'm just speaking about minerals, and I'm speaking about the God body, the temple of God. The kingdom of Christ is within. So cacao powder, family. You know what I'm saying? For bringing the heart, stabilizing the heart back to a place where you can help chip down that wall and really get into that heartfelt emotion again. Find you some cacao powder, drink that daily. You know what I'm saying? Feed the heart cacao. Yeah,
Mm,
let's go with it.
no doubt. The concept of magnetism in humans refers to the idea that living beings have magnetic fields that play roles in health, wellness, and overall functioning. The magnetic field in humans primarily originates from the electrical activity within cells, particularly nerve and muscle cells. All right. Here are some benefits and applications related to magnetism in humans. One, improve circulation and oxygenation. Magnetic fields can potentially enhance blood circulation by affecting the movement of charged particles in the blood. This can lead to better oxygen and nutrient delivery to cells, promoting healing and recovery. Some researchers suggest that magnets may help expand blood vessels, thus facilitating blood flow, which can help improve tissue repair and reduce inflammation. Um, Uncle Hank blessed me with this pendant, this talisman, and it's right. It has a magnet, and he put that right on the heart. He says that's to heal the heart. And ever since I put this magnet on, it's been helping me and increase my quote unquote electromagnetic field. Here's a graph of what that field looks like. All right, that torus field around your body based off of the electromagnetic field of the heart, and it also grows. Okay, here's the Earth's magnetic field. Okay, so this is a macro of the micro. All right. The heart is more powerful than the brain. The heart is about 100,000 times stronger electrically and up to 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. Live in the heart.
Mhm.
Okay. And not the brain. Live in the heart. Them people, and you know who them people is, they like to live in the brain and whatnot. Let's remain in the heart. Okay. That's where we're stronger at. And that's why we are revered around, based off of the power of our heart, regardless of what has been done to us, our connection to the magnetic realm. You know what I mean? Look back to this right here. Humans may have a magnetic sixth sense.
Hmm.
Okay. Humans may have a sixth sense, after all, suggesting a new study finding that a protein in a human retina, when placed into fruit flies, has the ability to detect magnetic fields. The researchers cautioned that the results suggest this human protein has the capability to work as a magnetosensor. However, whether or not humans use it in that way is not known. Come on, man.
Right. Can I speak to that?
Please.
That speaks to the same magnet they said that birds use, right, to navigate when
Right.
they fly south and things of that nature.
Mhm.
So the induction, right? If we go back to that word, the induction of magnetism is mainly based on calcium ions, right? Calcium ion fluxes.
Right.
Okay, so the calcium ion fluxes take place where? In the pineal.
Mm.
So this retina protein that they're speaking about, again, when you observe UVA sun between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., it stimulates this particular nerve, and it creates what? It signals the pituitary gland to create these particular endocrine hormones and things of that nature. And all of these things are responsible for these processes. But as the pineal gland becomes more calcified, because the evidence shows you, if the CIA did the research and the studies of all of these particular modalities in the 50s, and then they started introducing fluoride to the water, they damn sure knew what they was doing,
Mm. Yeah.
right? So the
Right.
calcification, right? Calcium. Look at this chain that everybody responds to. This is selenite. Selenite is in the calcium family. This is what calcium would look like, right? This is what your pineal looks something like this. It looks translucent, somewhat like this. It's calcium based,
Mm.
right? But it becomes calcified because of fluoride, and then that what decreases your ability to fully tap into these receptors, or for the sunlight to have the inducing effect that it has, right? for you to be able to navigate and know what you're going through at any given minute, again, these things that have disconnected us from our greatness are very recent things. You
Right.
feel me? We're very recently removed from these superpowers that we have always had as navigators. But yeah, please continue.
RFK said he's gonna take the fluoride out the water
Yeah.
on January 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that. That's what RFK said.
That's okay. Yeah.
Let me just finish this article, then we'll wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me hold up. Hold up.
Okay, so this protein has an interesting name. It's called cryptochrome. Okay, cryptochromes. That's gonna be like 4 y'all new name on Facebook tomorrow, but it's all good. Past research has suggested that in addition to helping animals such as sea turtles and migratory birds navigate, the ability to detect magnetic fields can help with visual spatial perception. Reppert said to picture a magnetic field coordinate system overlaid on objects we view. That's what you said, Blue. It may aid how animals perceive how objects are in time and space in a way we haven't thought about before, right? Says Rupert, who is a neurobiologist. Animals' magnetic sense is thought to rely on special proteins called cryptochromes, which are also found in human retina. While past behavioral research has suggested humans can't sense magnetic fields, with studies showing a capability remaining controversial, there is evidence that geomagnetism affects the light system in our eyes. To see if humans perhaps possessed to see if humans perhaps possess this other sense, Riepert and his colleagues tested wild fruit flies with their cryptochromes intact, and those that had their own cryptochromes replaced with the human vision of the protein.
Version.
So they did an A and B test, and they figured out that it worked on both. And that's the end of the slideshow for right now, my good brother.
Indeed. All right. All right. Let me hold up. How do I get this down? I shout to everybody in the chat. Awesome, awesome. I love conversations where I feel more energized at the end of it than I was in the beginning of the conversation. So that's a beautiful thing. Family, give me some good questions in the chat. Well, we about to hit the 2 hour mark. Well, we're running about 20, 25 more minutes. I'm not gonna keep Blue's not a night owl no more. So we ain't gonna keep Blue too long. Before I got a couple things I want to say
I
before
got
we get to the
tailgate
Q&A.
tomorrow.
Huh?
I tailgate
Blue
on
tailgate.
Sunday.
Okay.
I'm an Atlanta tailgater now. Yeah.
Wow, Blue, you doing a lot, man. You doing a lot, man. How does it feel? Before just a side note, Blue, how does it feel? I was talking to the panel I had with Rod and BDL and RFG about
Yeah.
the concept of aging. Being that you're doing what you're doing at your age, is it changing your concept of aging and the fact that you got a birthday coming up? Are you going to count? Are you going to add another number to like what's your
Yeah. I'll be 49, so that also is conducive with the whole gold, mining of gold, and the 49ers, they went out there and they mined gold. So I'm mining gold on my 49th year, and I'm reversing my age. I believe that I've created stem cells. I don't know if I should get into this too much, but we ain't moving in fear. Yeah. I feel that my body has created stem cells that can cure aging, because once I stopped buying into the concept of it, I started reversing the process. I'm stronger than I was when I was 20. My body is more agile. My fascia is activated. I'm injury free. I don't look forward to having any injury anytime soon. And they said if I could keep this going for the next 3 or 5 years, science will show us how to live to 500.
Mm.
I want to do that naturally. I want to reverse the aging, what they call chronological aging and
Mm.
biological aging on my body, and get it tested and show that I've, my telomeres are growing. You feel me? My hair will be black, fully without Beijing in the next 6 or 7 months. And I don't want to do, I don't want to take away from the receptivity of what these gray antennas represent when they tap into the silver lining,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, yes, I'm being very dismissive of the fact that we think that just because we chronologically age, we have to biologically age. I think that we can do the reverse. And I'm at least gonna be here to like 120 something, but 500 is a goal. I could do it.
I love how you say that
We're, we're,
confidently,
we're
Blue.
That's
moving
what
into
the
supersonic.
transhumanists are working towards. That's
We're
what
graduating.
Elon Musk and all of them is trying to do.
Yeah, and they're doing it.
Graduate naturally, super
Again,
sapient.
I tell people to look into Quincy Jones, look into Ray Kurzweil. And I found this out about Quincy when I was in 2009. He had a very negative response after Michael Jackson transition, and they called him in the airport, and he was on his way to Europe because he's part of a group or a committee that's studying reverse aging. You know what I mean? But they take like 150 pills a day. They get into all of this weird stuff, and they're at the forefront of transhumanism. So they can't do it physiologically. They got to go and get computers, and they got to hybridize themselves. And I'm saying we can do it naturally. You know what I mean? It's all mental. You got to stop listening to what these people are speaking about, because they're speaking about themselves and their body, their physiology. You've eavesdropped on somebody else's conversation about
Fact.
their fragile bodies that they have not been able to get into, an induction zone where they can tap into all of this latent information. They're only researching it, like you said, as scientists. They're not alchemists. They're not
Right.
applying these
No
scientists. And even when you
spirituality in
look,
it.
yeah, and their religion has cut off their spiritual, because this information was available with the Gnostics. This information, this is the holy grail that they was attempting to get to for all
Mm.
this for all this time. This is
Mm.
what really is what the alchemy has always been about. And religion has always, cut the air off for that. But here we go. In this modern day, and I'm able to incorporate everything that I've learned, you know what I'm saying, and make it applicable. And I think that that's the best thing that I can offer. Again, for myself, I'm not selfish, but I'm into myself in a way that I've never been into, and that is helping more people rather than me externalizing and attempting to individually help people. You know.
Indeed. Yeah. Let me see. Let's see a couple of these questions in the chat. What are y'all talking about in the chat? Well, I saved a few questions. Red, you was just talking about the cryptochromes. Vinka wants to know how best to utilize the will to tap into cryptochromes. She said, I think crystals when I say this.
Right. I would tell her to definitely make sure that she has some crystals that are the platonic solid shapes,
Mm-hmm.
and contemplate in deep meditation, activating the cryptochrome.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah,
Let's
I would say sun gazing
Right.
again. Getting out there and learning how to properly sun gaze. Some people tell you, start with your left eye and then your right eye, and then once you get familiar with that, you do it with both eyes and what have you. But that process is going to stimulate the cryptochromes in your eyes and what have you, and you'll start feeling, yeah, the serotonin receptors will go up. You're gonna feel a lot better about your day, and this is what I wanted to say in regards as well to the science that's coming out with this information. They said that if you have a loving, connected conversation with someone, it turns on genes that shut off inflammation. Your mind is the most potent pharmacy ever, and it will either drive inflammation or will stop inflammation simply by your thoughts, right? So these conversations that we have, the reason that you know, Brother Rich said he could walk away from it feeling better than when we started these conversations, is because positive interactions, bouncing these ions off of one another, you know what I mean, in this particular manner, it reduces inflammation.
Mhm.
So it's these are healing conversations that are being had about processes in the bodies that are actually healing.
Mm, indeed. Yeah, man. I remember I told y'all plenty of times. I had this. I did so many shows on the police killings back in 2016, the Obama era. I was getting weak, like
Yeah.
internally. I was feeling like depleted energetically, and I had to pull the plug on those type of shows because it was just too much. It was one after another, and the people like, Rich, you go talk about this shooting, you go talk about that shooting. I'm like, can't do this shit no more, yo. So
Yeah.
Debilitating.
yeah, man. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot at
Yeah.
that time.
Truth Seeking Lou has a great question.
All right, let's see. What's the question, Blue? While I find it.
When we talk about the tongue being an extension of the heart, when
Okay.
we speak things into existence, what are the best hours to do so? That's an amazing, amazing question. And to dovetail off of that, I want to speak about what also was suggested in regards to increasing your induction of your magnetic field, which is locking the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth,
Hmm.
right? And you're activating so many latent cells in the brain and the mind, and you're also creating that heart brain connection.
Hmm.
And they have shown all of these different micro, looks of the brain underneath different cameras or what have you. And the pineal, it beats in synchronicity with the heart. You feel me? And there is a physical identifiable brain heart connection. Lock the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, and when you make the sounds of om specifically, right, when you make sounds of om, or you can also deal with whistling, right, or singing straight up.
Hmm.
All of these things are instrumental to us increasing our auric fields and strengthening and increasing our auric fields. These are all healing modalities.
What about
So
screaming?
it there's a frequency of sound, and I did not come across screaming as the best average, but
Say,
see, you gotta scream, right? Sometimes you might be going through certain things, and screaming might be your medicine. So I'm not cutting that valve off, but they're saying specifically oming with the tongue locked to the roof of the mouth,
yes,
creating
that resonance.
the things that are cleaning the auric field and expanding it, right? Um, I would say any hour is the best hour, but I would always advise you to do this in the first hour to two of when you wake up. And hopefully that hour or two when you wake up is within, the early hours of the sun, specifically before 10 a.m. And when we do things like change daylight saving times, you got to be very mindful of your discipline and your practices. They're throwing you off. They're throwing you off for the circadian rhythm of the planet. So you have to navigate properly. You got to know that, you know what I'm saying? You manually changing time doesn't change time. You feel me? So you got to find your pocket and stay in that pocket, regardless of what they're doing with this false time that they got you caught up in.
No facts. Facts.
Yeah.
Let's get to another question. I just seen one. All right, this individual, Toya, what can I do for body twitching? My ancestors told me my energy center was blocked. I have been twitching for a year. I took Dr. Sabi tonic biofurrow, and it's much better.
Okay. Well, yeah, your body twitching is directly connected to your parasympathetic nervous system. So you have to lessen the inflammation on that. Bioferro, I don't specifically know what components are in that particular compound or product, but I would imagine that it has something to do with easing the the nervous system, and that's why you're feeling much better. So whatever you're doing that makes you feel much better, do more of it. But also get outside and ground, right? So if you don't know what grounding is, that means get outside, on a piece of earth, on a piece of ground, not necessarily concrete, find you some soil, take your socks off and put your feet on the ground and then sun gaze. If you want to, what we call superset, right? If you want to superset the process and you want to amplify it, get in and then sun gaze and then om with the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. If you want to super duper amplify it, and then if you want to super duper quadruple amplify it, have certain areas of your skin, accessible to sunlight, specifically the gut.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, no, I want to ask something, and
Somebody else had a dope question as well.
where's it at, Blue?
It was about sexual connections. All right, it was from Q. It said if sexual reflexology correlates specific zones of the vagina and phallus to specific organs, then does specifically stimulating certain zones cause healing or potential health issues? That was another dope question. And yeah. So let's speak about the body's connection and correlation specifically to the heart, since that's what we're speaking about, the focus that we're putting on, right? Reflexology, the left foot, right? The heart is connected. Well, let's get into first, before we get into the feet, let's take it into our physical, right? Let's take it to the head. So the wisdom teeth are connected to the heart. How many people got their wisdom teeth pulled? Right? So automatically, I would say for you, you want to deal with observing in your own mental visualization process. Do you have a heart wall that was put up because of that? Right? As do you got a heart wall up that you might not even know about because you pulled your wisdom teeth and your body has responded to that particular violation or that aggressive violation by putting up a heart wall?
Right.
I would say look there. I would also say understand that the marriage ring. So the fourth finger on the left hand, this particular nerve connects directly to the heart, right? So if you've been certain infidelities and stuff, if you make a declaration and an oath and a vow and a bond, right? Because they love talking about, the ring is for the Saturn and the Saturn ring. And I'm not saying that that's not right and exact. I'm just saying that once you make that, you bind with that bond and you violate that, that's also something that's going directly into your heart. So if you're making a vow, don't violate that vow because you're violating yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't pull a fast one on yourself. Nope. Your auric field and your spirit self knows when you being authentic or not. You can't be in a relationship and be creeping out on shorty and thinking that you're not puncturing holes in your auric field. And then she's not picking up on it, God damn it, because she has the ability with her spiritual eye, right, to get these downloads. Intuition, right? So the foot, reflexology wise, connects to the heart. They say the upper, like the part of the foot that's up here, right, that connects to the heart. Then you have there's a particular toe on, I think it's the big toe, might be the big toe on the left foot, right? Those are the parts that connect directly to the heart that you should get into massaging with reflexology, so you can also massage the heart. You can move that heart energy around. You don't ever want that to be stagnant. You know what I'm saying? And I also massage the heart. And then Mantak Chia speaks about this is ceremony for livers and kidney health, but you can use it for every organ, and it's visualizing smiling. Um,
The
so
organ smiling.
organ smiling. So when you wake up, right, you visualize every part of you smiling. So this goes into a smile. Your eyes go into a smile. Your nostrils go into a smile. You do an actual smile. Your throat, every part of you that you can think of, that you can visualize smiling on top of, that's what you utilize. But when you get to the heart, you got to get into this joyous laughter. You got to not just smile with the heart. You got to be so joyful and playful with it that you are like ramping and revving up your engine to start your day so you could deflect any negativity when you greet yourself in the most loving manner. Again, this is you know, this is self-love and self-care 102. You know what I'm saying? This is the metaphysical version of it, utilizing visualization. We don't give enough credit to the power of visualization.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a game changer.
No facts.
And I learned that in the gym. I mean, I already knew it, but I had to prove it to myself time and time and time again that there are actual physical effects to visualization processes. You know what I'm saying? The mind is beyond powerful. We're gonna do a separate show on that one day.
No, indeed.
And I also want to address this question because I do, I'm seeing if the question's being asked, does orgasm help to heal? You know,
Absolutely.
and can it potentially cause health issues? Once again, I believe that orgasms in the heart have a connection. If you were to ask a woman who was able to orgasm, on multiple occasions with the man that she's with, there's going to be a stronger connection, and that could even heal. That could even lead to the heart being healed, which will strengthen the auric field, which will strengthen the magnetic field of both parties involved.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Speaking of orgasm, somebody asks, how can celibacy and semen retention affect your aura field?
Oh,
Well, I'll speak to semen retention as taught by Montauk Chia by way of the Eastern philosophies. They speak about the microcosmic orbit, and the microcosmic orbit, when done properly, is feeding the auric field, so it is strengthening and amplifying it. Um, again, by utilizing that latent creative energies that come by way of the semen, that come by way of the spinal fluids,
Hmm.
right? Because these same spinal fluids is what you would utilize to go up the spine to get into Christ consciousness. How does it do that? Specifically, right? Utilizing proper breathing and spinal fluid, forcing it to rush up the spine and pressurizing the crystals of the pineal to induce piezoelectricity. And that results in mechanical stress, which activates the crystals to create a charge, right? And those are the things that turn on your radio receiver, right? So you can still replicate that process through semen retention if done properly, utilizing the microcosmic orbit. Now, I don't know nothing about celibacy, so I'm gonna leave that to Red. You guys have
well, now let's talk about two scenarios.
uh-huh.
There's one scenario where you're not celibate and you're not practicing semen retention and you're spilling your seed and you're falling to temptations and what they call lust. And you're puncturing holes in your aura, and now you have succubus and you have attachments and you have depression and you're low on magnesium and your magnetic field is low, and you're getting sick easier, you're having a runny nose, and you're having all of these issues and whatnot because you have a full belly and empty balls. That's a saying that they have.
Whoa.
you know I'm just saying, if you are a person who is fornicating, spilling their seed, right? Your
Yeah,
seed is your light.
talk about it.
Montauk Chia talks about it. The brother who wrote Think and Grow Rich speaks on it.
Napoleon, talk about it.
Napoleon Hill speaks on it. and Manly P. Hall speaks on it. Wayne P. Chandler speaks on it, and a few other people speak on it. That when you drain your life force energy, which
Yes.
is contained in your semen, henceforth, why semen retention is helping people to go into Goku mode or Super Saiyan mode and whatnot, because you're resisting the temptations to spill your seed. Each resist is like blue pill being in the gym for 10 weeks. It's going to build a stronger magnetic field. You're not succumbing to what is known as you're not going against the laws of the universe. These are universal principles, ladies and gentlemen. Has nothing to do with a religion, has nothing to do with schools of thought and knowledge. Everybody knows that you fapping off, you know what I mean? Your ancestors are staring at you, shaking their heads like, man, you could do better. And you know when things happen, you don't feel good about it. So you know that that's going against your constitution and whatnot. So that right there is and it's going against your integrity. So when you're able to resist and you're able to build, you're just resisting the fact to ejaculate when in the practice of having sex with your better half and whatnot. Resisting the urge. Resisting the urge builds your strength. It builds your aura. It builds your field and whatnot. You ever held back from going in and then you was on Superman time after you was talking your talk? You know what I'm talking about? You feel stronger like that. And the opposite is that you may feel weaker and whatnot. So kudos to everybody that's able to maintain discipline, because remember, discipline is what the monks are going through. They're willing to give up the carnal desires. They're detaching from the orgasm. They're detaching from smacking the booty and whatnot. They're detaching from all of that. And they're seeking that same type of quote unquote euphoria through resisting, right? Through quote unquote detachment. That's where they find their power and their peace and whatnot. So nothing could tempt them. They're like, nah, this is not human. It's not the flesh. It's the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's the spirit.
Yeah, somebody Red ain't talking. Somebody says sex is natural. Ancestors ain't looking sideways. And no, Red is talking about masturbation. He's not talking about sex. He's talking about
Sex is with two people, ladies and gentlemen.
he's talking about jerking off the Pornhub.
Paul Meta. I'm talking about you and Paul Meta.
Watching Pornhub.
Or you and that robot.
Ooh, no, don't go there, man.
I don't know. I want to. It's Saturday right now. I want to go there.
Yo, you know what I want to ask you?
Yeah.
Read earlier in your presentation, you talked about human magnetic field acting as a buffer against external forces and energies and influences.
Yeah.
When we have our greats, let's say Malcolm X, how are they able to penetrate if our magnetic field, which extends very far as a buffer, how are they able to get to these individuals? Dr. King, Malcolm X, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Should their magnetic field be that buffer? Do they have to wait to a certain time where they know they're mentally weak? Like, how does this happen?
Let me speak to, with King specifically. They're saying him creeping on Coretta was compromising of his magnetic field.
Okay.
It allowed, intercessors to find a way in, because, I think that, the love and the protection that your Wiz has for you also is connected to the strength of your magnetic field.
Yeah.
Because y'all are a unit,
Yeah.
and when that comes into question, and she starts wondering, whether you are other than being outside on mission, and you may be, then that may allow, you feel me, for some level of intercession to take place. Now, I don't know what our brother was going through, other than the fact that his magnetic field had to be torn because he was tearing away from his organization, a leader that he considered his father, and his identity. He was going through a lot of transitions in a short amount of time, and that open door was all that was needed, because everybody knew, right? You heard the story of Dick Gregory.
Yeah.
that he got on the Amtrak and sent himself from to a far distance because everyone knew. So that means that there was an energy and then there was a feeling. There was actually an induction that had already took place to template it.
Right.
That this
It was
was
in the
about
air.
it was in the air.
Mm,
He walked directly into that.
right.
And it was seen
Right?
that
By not listening.
right, that there was a misstep. And that misstep opened the way for, because they say if you do wrong, you leave the door open to be done wrong. That's what violating the Mac. That's what going against the energetic field does. So in life's decisions, it's very important that you make sure that you move selflessly, because if you make the wrong move, it's like in chess. You feel me? If I violate, then I open up the door for violation. So it was not, my father told me that the overall consensus, even before his quote unquote fateful day at the Audubon, is that he made he made a wrong decision.
Mm,
It was like he misstepped,
right.
and they didn't know that misstep was going to lead to what it led to, but that misstep it was one misstep that led to many others.
Let's get
So
to
it didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah, great question.
brilliant answers. I
Yeah.
love how you tied in the whole him creeping on Coretta thing, and that kind of opened up that door for and made him vulnerable.
Pink toes.
So yeah,
Right. The pink toes at that. Yeah. They tear
that's true.
holes in your
That's
field.
man, oh King, Dr. King.
The authenticity factor is compromised.
Right.
And again, we speak about authenticity being 4,000 times stronger than love.
Yeah.
Right.
And so imagine where that induces from the field. You know what I mean? That's how you keep your field solid through authenticity, because your body got to be believing what you're saying. If it starts removing its shield, if you're no longer authentic to self,
To
right?
self.
Like
Yeah.
take me, I'm a projector in my human design. The only way that things become real for me is if I believe them when I say them,
Right.
right? If I stop believing myself, right? If what I'm saying is not true, then I have opened myself up to innumerable attacks and what have you, because my body will start, no longer shielding or protecting me. So yeah, compromising, that field and compromising that energy, compromising the integrity of the platform that one stands on, and you're standing on that platform throwing stones, not a good look.
Somebody wants to know, are there such thing as spiritual babies from all the lost nuts?
I was told that yes, you etherically are still creating entities on the other side of things, that you're responsible for as well. How we want to go about, what I'm saying, buying into that, or dealing with it.
Mhm.
you know, like when you abort a child, you still have a child and you got to deal with that spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Um, it might be to a lesser degree when you cacking off, but you're still in a creative process. You're still utilizing your
You gotta
imagination.
you
Does
created
your
something.
brain know the difference? If we're dealing with neural cinematics, and if I can go to a movie and a movie induces a particular feeling, if I'm looking at if I'm looking at some porn, some smut, and I'm watching other people simulate an act, and I'm, you know, a third party to the party,
Voyeur.
right?
You
What is
P.
that
Diddy.
doing? And what is that saying? You
You
know
had
what I
a
mean?
Diddy party.
Yeah, you're still creating something because you're utilizing cerebral spinal fluid. You're utilizing torsion. You know what I'm saying? And you're passing the threshold. And then and then your light, because remember what seminal fluid is, your light is still coming outside, right? And that light is attracting, like that light has phosphorus in it. That light is still attracting entities and deities. So all them clumped up pieces of
I heard it looked like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. That's what I heard.
Oh man.
flush them tissues, man. Stop keeping them shits in the plastic in the
Yeah, put them tissues on your altar.
Oh God. Oh man, this show has gotten extremely R-rated, family. Oh man, where did this show go? Saturday night.
Saturday Night
Oh
Live.
man, listen. Nah, this is beautiful that we can have an honest conversation about these types of things. Let's we're gonna do one more question and then I'm well, before we let me see. Before we get to the last question, let me tell you. So I got a couple of announcements coming that I'm gonna make to the family about the next event that I'm doing in Atlanta. Which isn't going to be far from now. I got to talk to Blue because I need Blue to chef it up, and I got to let Blue know and talk to Red as well. But I'm going in all right with this whole conversation with us dealing with the information from the heart and the heart wall and all that, and individuals not being able to tap into the information due to whatever barrier. I decided that I want to go in the direction. Now, we've been doing lectures for a long time. We've been in this community and we've been going to lectures for a long time. I want to reintroduce something to the community that I think will help people have a more of an emotional connection to the information. Blue brought up the story of Jesus earlier. Our people are extremely emotionally connected to that story. Now, when you break down the science of Jesus, they're not as emotionally connected to the science of the pineal gland and the zodiac signs and this and that. I want to bring back to the lecture circuit folklore. I want to bring back story time. So the next event, and I'm going to be doing things where I want to have the speakers create a story, create a folklore. And after they say the story, they could break down the science of the story. So it'll be like a two-part. It'll be like the folklore, then it'll be like the science breaking it down. So everybody could take home with them a story that they could pass down generations and that they can have more of a emotional connection with. So all these stories that touch us with our hearts, it includes story. It just doesn't include the white man's science. We're more of a story type of people, a folklore type of people, a poem type of people. So I just want y'all to be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna be hitting up Blue. I'm gonna be hitting up Red. I want everybody to create a folklore
I'm
story
ready.
and then break. Like, I give you an example. So we talking about the magnetic field. Electricity could have been a character in the story. Magnetism could have been a character. The earth could have been a character. The pineal gland could have been a character. Now, with these characters, when you read it to your children, they're embedded in their mind, just like Little Red Riding Hood, the Three Little Pigs. We remember all that shit. And you have a science to back up that story. So you could break that shit down, and your children, when they get older, they could understand why this story was told to them. So I just want everybody to look forward to that. Like I said, Red and Blue, we're gonna be working on that. Got some good things coming up with that,
Yeah,
Fire.
I'm ready. I created a narrative that again kind of started this off in February. Shout out to Black Dot.
Yeah.
We went to Nicholas
Nicholas
Bookstore.
program.
I created a comic called the Hip Hop Heru Story,
Uh-huh.
and I ended up becoming that. Again, these are the things that I just saw. Like, how can I better express this information? How can I try? How can I make it applicable and accessible to children? How can I make it more fun?
More fun.
You know
Yeah,
what I
very
mean? Because that was my 2024 when I did my reading for the year. It was like, you got to be your 5-year-old self.
yeah.
You got to do the things that you didn't complete as a child. And my father, he wouldn't let us work out until after 14, because he said it stunts your growth. Now, as I done my research, I heard all of that stuff that was being told to parents in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing in science that supports that. But that held me back. You know what I mean? So now I have opportunity to do it at this age, and it makes more sense because I'm doing it for all people over the age of 50 to think that it's, everything that I was reading said that it was a Reynolds. They like, yeah, man, you're dead.
Mm, mm, mm,
I'm like, why y'all so harsh?
because our magnetic field as melanated people, as a body politic, a magnetic field has become so compromised that we're the leading candidates of all comorbidities. Um, we just stop being ourselves, and we stop living in our heart. We stop listening with our heart, and we're just, all we're all left brain. We're seeing things with our eyes that we can't make sense of, and still attempting to be logical about it. And I ain't gonna talk about politics and everything, but
We
um,
we we
it's
became what we despised the most.
yeah, that part. So the best path that I figured we could get back to health is the path that I'm taking. But what you said, templating that in a narrative and a folklore and a story that people can walk away from, that's how we always told our information. It was coded, but it was multi-layered, and it spoke in symbolism, it spoke to the subconscious. It you don't, not that you just get it, you got it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm all the way with it.
Yeah, I did a workshop in Brooklyn at the same spot, Nicholas. I think it was what month was that? It might have been September, called the Fantasy Complex Industry.
Mhm.
And we broke down the fact that there's a complex industry there's this out here, and it's about 5 different industries that are worth trillions of dollars, and they're responsible for programming the subconsciousness of multiple generations. It's the comic book industry, the toy industry, the video game industry, and the quote unquote music industry. And they get us from 0 to 7. They program us. They're able to feed us these stories and whatnot. But these are good stories, these mythos and whatnot, this folklore. However, it's time to implement our own fantasy complex industry and take it back. We need our own Marvel. We need our own DC. You know what I'm talking about? We need our own toys. We can make toys with 3D printers and other things right now. Like you can
Yes.
make a mock-up on your iPad and send it to China, and the toy will come back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
So help me out. We're trying to get this action figure blue thing going before Christmas. But look,
I think we could be able to do that. We got the 44 tops action figures coming.
okay. I
We
just
could
want
get
to.
some blue.
Can I get 2 minutes on the folklore real quick?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we are living in the most dynamic times, especially as melanated people, that there's things that are happening to us and around us that we're not putting in proper perspective. We're not putting the light on it. Case in point, yesterday was the anniversary of Tupac Amaru Shakur's situation in the city of Atlanta, right?
Mhm.
When he popped them two police, right?
Mhm.
And what was it, a 24-year anniversary or something like that? There was a number on it,
I think it was 93. It may have
right?
happened.
But you're speaking about, yeah, so somebody named Tupac who resonated with Thug Life a day after Young Thug, right, in Atlanta gets released. Now it's a juxtaposition that couldn't be more of a contrast, right? That we went from Thug Life to Young Thug, and there's identifiable gaps in that you can deduce yourself by making those observations. Somebody that was born as a scion of the Black Panthers, a son of a Black Panther, who was part of, a case that, also aggressively went against the people at that time that they considered to be adversarial, right? And then you got Jeffrey, who puts on a dress and what have you, and, is standing there in front of the judge telling them, yeah, it took me for this to understand the influence and impact that I got on people. And I promise I'm going to do better. But again, he is the person who coined the term slime and wiping of the nose, which is parlance for taking a melanated life. You know what I'm saying? Both of them represent thuggies, though. And then when you do the research on the thuggies,
Mhm.
who are the thuggies?
Mhm.
The thuggies are a countercultural sect that specifically was paying homage to what entity or what deity were the thuggies thugging for?
Panthers.
Cali.
Kali Yuga.
Cali.
Mm-hmm.
What candidate is Cali?
Hmm.
Come on.
Kamala.
And specifically, Kamala is a version of Kali that deals with time. right? Hence the fact that she's known as what? A person who has given out a
A
considerable
lot of
amount of time to these thugs.
Damn.
Right.
Shit.
So
Damn.
we're looking at this thing play out in our face in real time, right? And specifically, the British put down the thuggies when they was taking over India, right? And it dealt with the East Indian Company. So now we're dealing with a candidate who's considered to be an East Indian versus a West Indian, who, if elected, will be in office when the U.S. goes through its 250th celebration of being a particular country that was founded. It was supposed to be India.
Mhm.
So these narratives and these mythos and these stories that we're looking at that are playing out in real time around us deserve interpretation. You know what I'm saying? They deserve being put in their proper place as mythos that are playing out in real time. So yeah, I'm all the way here for it. I appreciate that. That's a dope dynamic. And this is again, somebody asks, how can they reach children if they're into consciousness and their children are part of another world? You know what I mean? And this is how you do it. You
You
know what I
create
mean?
that, you create worlds.
Yeah, the children are into the fantasy industry complex, right? They're burning out right now on Call of Duty, the new one. You know what I'm saying? And they'll probably be playing that until uh what you call it comes
Grand
out.
Theft Auto comes.
Auto.
GT6.
You feel me? So that's how we got to reach them. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
got to get into gaming. We got to get into taking some of these narratives. Like I always used to be like, damn, why Bobby just don't write scripts? Because we got the script down pack, but it's sometimes very hard for us to internalize in a logistical sense. But if it was fed to us through fantasy and we still got the information, we make references to fantasy anyway. When I'm working out, they like, oh, you Goku now. I'm like, who's Goku?
Mhm.
That's somebody that exists in your fantasy, but taught people real life lessons. There are fitness influencers and straight up like just beasts in that world that a lot of their origin stories was Goku. Our generation is Bruce Lee. Theirs was Goku,
Goku,
a
right.
fictional character that has people in real life doing superhuman feats,
Mhm.
attempting to keep up with a fictional character, but they have eclipsed them because they've done it in the real world.
Mhm. Fire. That's facts.
Right.
Remember, the brain doesn't know the difference between
The brain
imagination and
can't tell the
reality,
difference.
It's
It
one and
don't.
the
Brain
same to the
can't tell
brain.
it. Look, I'm doing a what if comic. I love the what if universe, and I'm gonna create alternate realities with the what if series. So let's say that Kamala wins, I'm gonna do a what if Trump won comic, and if Trump wins, I'll do a what if Kamala won. You know what I mean? But it's time to create alternate realities. We are in the November Jason months. Scorpion is all about change, and November 5th, something is going to change regardless of anything. This is going to be the month of change, regardless of who wins. It still represents change either way. So the world will change in a few days, or rather, the theater stage will change, the program will change. But this is, it will resurrect. That's what hurricanes are about. Hurricanes are about change through destruction, immense change. It changes things. When a hurricane passes through, everything changes up and whatnot. But it does. This is nature's way of changing things. So on another level, there's going to be a large change coming to the USA in a few days.
Yeah. Definitely next week we're gonna see. Yeah, we're gonna see some things happen next week. I want y'all to before we get out of here, I want y'all to, and shout out to everybody for staying with us the whole time. We still got 1,600 people in the chat. I know y'all enjoyed tonight's episode. Definitely a classic. You gotta watch it again, family. Let the people know. I know y'all got things coming up, services, products. Let the people know everything y'all got going on right now so they can contact y'all.
Yes, awesome. Um, Me and Blue Pill's birthday is this month in November. We are turning the illustrious 49. And this is the month that we are going to join forces and come together and do a presentation, both for our Patreon audiences and also for the family that's out there. It's going to be entitled Super Sapien. The Rise of the Super Sapiens 2025,
Mhm.
featuring me and Blue, and it's going to be on 11/22. Okay, 11/22, which happens to be a Saturday, and we're gonna just be bringing some fire information to close out this fiscal year. Blue is gonna be a living example. He's gonna be a living testament in his presentation. He's gonna teach y'all how to tap into this gold body, God body, and yeah, we're gonna show you the the steps that it takes. Let them know, Blue.
Yeah, yeah. We're laying out the preparation. You know what I'm saying? We all should be ready, so we ain't got to get ready. Any
Yeah.
which way that you look at it, it's gonna be a roller coaster ride. In front of us, and not to approach it with fear. We're approaching it with preparation because we can ride the wave regardless of which way the wave flows. But preparation is key, and it starts mentally before you get into anything physical. You have to be able to mentally be able to see yourself in a place of victory, um, able and available to tap in to all that is available because there's so much abundance, and we do not want anybody to entertain any idea of lack. You know what I mean? Be unapologetically optimistic. Again, they said that optimism boosts your ability to live past the age of 85 by 50%. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Hmm.
Yeah, these are identifiable numbers, to
mm.
be able to always see the silver lining in any and all things, to be in a static state of optimism. I got things going on in my life right now that some people would be like, you shouldn't be so optimistic. And I'm like, I couldn't be more optimistic. You know what I mean? I do not entertain the idea of obstacle. It's not gonna kill me. It's just like when you get out, they throw 4 or 5 plates on you, and you could cry, kick, and scream. They be like, "Did you die though?
Did you
Right.
die?
Did you die?"
Yeah.
And if you didn't, then there's a cause to celebrate. And these small things, these anecdotal small things, man, I have utilized these things to become a better version of myself. And I think that that's what I can offer the community is just being a better version of me, working on me to a degree that I'm in love with this version of me.
Yes.
So we're gonna bring a overswell of optimism, positive information, and things that can be done, not just theorized, right, to the family on 11/22 as we move into solar cycle 2025, the rise of the super sapiens.
Hmm. This gonna be a good
Yes,
one. I
indeed.
can feel it. I can feel it in the ethers. This gonna be a good one, y'all.
I think I put the link to somebody asked where they could get the link at.
Yeah, I see it.
Blue. I'm not in the chat room, so I can't drop it. But if anybody has the link, could you definitely drop it? Um, we also have a capsule that that I just released. The Master Teachers Collection is hoodie season. We are venerating. This is the month of Hoodoo Heritage Month, and it's about the veneration of the ancestors. So we have
Yes.
master teachers that we're putting on hoodies and shirts to we're targeting the youth so they could rock the fashions of these master teachers. We got Dr. Ben, Dr. Dick Gregory, we got Dr. Sabi, Dr. Delbert Blair, Dr. Valentine, and a few other master teachers on the new website, themark125.com. Thank you everybody that's already been supporting and grabbing up the whole collection and whatnot. And salute.
Indeed.
And our birthday is on November 14th. Somebody that was asking, we are the 14th as well. So shout out to AA, he's the 13th. Shout out to KT, he's the third. You know, shout out to my Virgos, man. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to shout out
Yeah.
to Amir, your son. He's the seventh,
Yes, Amir is the
and
seventh.
there are many others. The
Any
Scorpion
Scorpion
family.
queens and
They
kings.
shout out to all of y'all, even the October ones. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Love,
Hmm.
Yeah, love,
love.
love.
On this last day of the 44th week of the year, we salute you all. This has been amazing. It's been an amazing presentation as always. Thank you to Rich. Thank you to all of the Virgos who make the Scorpions look so amazing. You
Yeah.
know,
Red and blue. You know my daughter gonna be a Scorpio.
I know it, man. Come on now. You got your
Okay.
you know what I mean? You pay, you got your
Like I
ranks,
said,
you know what I'm saying? You
we
get, you
have a
getting
we have
blessed.
a joint relationship with the Virgo and the Scorpio thing, and we'll we'll
I got
we'll hip you
I
to
got a
it.
Virgo daughter,
It's-
That's
yeah,
interesting. You
y'all,
got a Virgo, yeah,
you
you
yeah.
know,
you in
and
for
you a
something.
Virgo with a Scorpio daughter. So I promise you, it's going to be a lot of love. A lot of love. She's gonna help your heart blossom into a whole nother
Yeah,
flowers, the flower of life. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Trust.
Indeed.
and
Trust.
yeah, before we conclude
My
this, I want to
daughter
speak about
upgraded me.
Scorpio in the heart. Right, Scorpio's heart is Antares, and if we want to look at and in the mythos, right, it goes into you know, Sagittarius pulls back the bow and he
Mhm.
strikes the heart of Scorpio. And Sagittarius and Scorpio help take down the sun in Capricorn, right? That's the mythos and what have you. But if you want to know the power of a scorpion heart, again, or we could show you the flip side of a damaged scorpion heart, and that's our brother Future,
Mhm.
right? Not only is Future Scorpio, right? But he utilized a process called auto tune. Auto tune is made by a company called Antares. Antares is the name of the heart of Scorpio. It's the star that represents the
Mm.
heart of Scorpio. Jay Z, who's shout out to all of the Gematria brothers out there. Now y'all can't just say I'm crazy by myself because there's all these brothers
Oh,
coming
you
with
got a whole
Gematria.
gang.
Yeah, salute to y'all, right? Um,
Yeah.
the number of Jay-Z is 374, and 374 means Scorpio. So even though we know Sean Carter's a Sagittarius, his alter ego, his character resonates with the energy of Scorpio. He was very scorpionic in his run in terms of the materialism that he brought and the underworld activities and what have you and energy. But nonetheless, you know, we know that Jay-Z came with the DOA, which is the death of auto tune. You know what I'm saying? But it was resurrected by a Scorpio and by way of future. He resurrected that auto tune and he has been on a 15-year run off of one broken heart,
Mm.
Mm.
Shit.
right? Where he has he has delved the populace into the depths of Hades that he it's so cold down there, he called it Pluto,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Or for one broken heart. So the feeling of scorpions or scorpions, which is a water sign, it's emotions, you know what I'm saying? It's deep, it gets into the depths and the mysteries, but the
Mhm.
damage and the broken heart of one has resonated and fluctuated, you know, throughout the cosmos and the universe with this brother's anthology of works that he's probably now 10 albums into, still talking about a broken heart. And we can't turn it off.
Damn. Wow.
And when we go dark, we go dark. So he doesn't have the compassion for, you know, any destruction that he leaves in his wake because of that closed heart chakra and that quote
Oh,
unquote
well,
he's taking it out in the public for years.
Mm.
yeah.
P
Hey,
Diddy's a
That,
Scorpio too.
that everything that these other brothers is accused of and on trial for, all of it is in one
damn. Wow.
in one character who
Wow.
will
Wow.
Drake is
remain
a
in
Scorpio.
shadow. They can do nothing with him.
Shit.
Yeah.
Man. Hey,
Removable.
family.
Scarface is a Scorpio, right?
Mm.
Brad
Who
Jordan,
just
shout out.
came from fighting death. He had a triple bypass, I believe.
Woo. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Scarface.
Damn. Well, family,
And
I
again,
want to.
yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Nah,
right.
I'm gonna leave. It'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to thank the family once again, y'all. A absolute magnificent show. Uh yeah, you see that? You see Red with the Unk, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, and somebody,
No,
yeah,
this
Biden
is
is a
what helped to
Scorpio
my
born.
magnetic field.
Biden is a
Indeed.
Scorpio born the same day as Future.
Woo.
Resonate with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
11/20,
Had a Scorpion
right? Just like
president.
Kamala born on 10/20. They was the
King
2020
Charles is
candidate.
born on our birthday. Yeah. The Scorpion
King
King in
Charles
the
was born
UK.
on
He's
14th.
born on
So
our
was Lil
Boozy
Boosie.
is born on our birthday.
Damn. Boozy. Little boozy.
Badass. Badass.
Hey,
Let's get the
what's
bag.
That's our
Vlad?
dark hermit.
What
Boozy
sign
is
is
our
Vlad?
dark
What
hermit.
sign is Vlad? Y'all said Boozy. Y'all made me think about Vlad. Is Vlad a Scorpio too?
Hell no.
Nah, I think
He
he's
a Virgo.
What about Adam? These weird, freaky ass.
Might be an Aquarius.
Probably. Okay. Red, like, get out of here. These niggas say Scorpios.
No,
Man.
Scorpios is meticulous. We scan the Scorpion registry, bro. Like we go through it. We want to know who around us.
Lad, June 28th.
What's that? Is that Cancer?
Leo.
It might
Oh.
be Cancer.
And November 24th, Adam 22. Yeah, Sag.
Okay.
Sag.
Sag energy. What's the last day of Scorpio? Scorpio. 11?
21st.
11 21st? Okay.
11/21.
All right. Well, listen, family, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody enjoy the rest of your strong and, as Blue would say, absolutely amazing show. Thank you, Red Pillar. Thank you, Blue Pillar. Red, did I tell you my new name is Radiohead Rich? Red?
I love it. I love it. That's you all day. Radiohead Rich. When I heard it the first time, literally a vision, image, because I think in images and pictures, it popped up. So I'm gonna present that image to you when I put it together.
Please
but
do.
That's a dope. Radiohead Rich. They hit it on the head with that one. And you graduated from Father Rich. You Baba Rich now. You know what I'm talking about?
Indeed.
And you Radiohead. You tapped in.
Indeed.
So I appreciate, like Blue Pills, like Blue said, that the questions bring about the best answers. You were able to prompt us and have us go into our cerebral cortexes and dig deep. So I appreciate that.
Indeed.
Yes.
Hey, we getting out of here, family. Red Pillar, Blue Pillar, Brother Rich, aka all the AKs. Y'all know Pope Pablo and everything else. We get out of here. We'll see you next time. Peace, family.
KT, happy born day. Peace, y'all.
Happy born day, KT.
Hey, happy born day, KT.
You done know.
I love you, bro.